Yeah! Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The Auburn and Missouri and Preston Thorne of the Midlands, part of the Chief Sports Network. Go Gamecocks!
He'll be fire on the mountain.
Scores! Lays it in at the buzzer! That's a win! Ball is way out of here!
5 consecutive home runs for Carolina.
It is good! It's on!
He's in. Touchdown. And for the throw to the plate.
He's going to score! It's a walk-off!
Touchdown, South Carolina!
Got one. All right, greetings and good morning. Welcome aboard and welcome home inside the Gamecocks, the morning show built by the Barndo Co. and presented by our friends at Resto Pros, who are there always when you need them. Resto Pros of the Midlands, Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. The official tailgate snack of our program is one of the best snacks you could find, and they come in small little 5.5 ounce bags, and they don't have any shells. Go to GameDayNuts.net or pull up the Chief Sports app. It is very easy to order them and have them sent to your home. GameDayNuts.net. Hold on, Phil. Let me see. Hold on. Let's try this. How about now? Much better, huh? Yeah. Sorry about that. I was toying with some things before we came on the air, but I've got it fixed. It's okay. GameDayNuts.net. They are incredible. They got 3 flavors. I ate some dill flavored ones last night after dinner. And go to Game Day Nuts and have them sent to your home, and you can tailgate with those this weekend. That's Mike Morgan. Quick programming note: we'll go till 1 today. We will. JC is really not feeling well at all, so he is going to take today off, and that is fine. We've all been there. He's got a pretty bad sinus infection. So we'll hope to get him back in the saddle tomorrow. But we do have Preston Thorne coming up here in just a little bit. Obviously, Phil will be in a little bit later on. We've got a Love Chevy.
No, they don't exist anymore.
They don't. They're gone. They're out of there. Yeah,
out by some company we don't know.
JT's Kia. Sorry to JT and his family, but a JT's Kia drive around the SEC. We will do some Gamecock Graffiti a little bit later on. We've got a couple of phone calls to play for you, and if you would like to be involved in Gamecock Graffiti in the future, it's basically just, hey, I need to get something off of my chest, and so I'm going to call y'all and say it, and you can do that. 803-250-1297, 803-250-1297, or if you look at the bottom of the screen, the number is scrolling right there. And then we're supposed to get Dennis O'Keefe. Are we going to have him today?
We're
working on it.
Working on that.
Okay. We do have the video of the 2 plays from the Deep South's oldest rivalry, which would be Auburn and Georgia. And we do have the play, the fake punt from South Carolina. We have the video for that. Credit to ESPN and ABC. Thank you. But we do have it. So nonetheless, we'll be able to fuss and discuss even if he's not here. So, but we'll be here till 3. Shane Beamer will meet with the media today at 1 o'clock. And so we would encourage all of you at that point in time to flip over and watch him from the podium at the facility. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. And yes, I know I've got some echo here. We're going to have to work that out. I've got a new microphone. The last one crapped out yesterday. So breaking a new one in today. Breaking it in live. We don't rehearse on this show. We just 10 o'clock hits and we just live bullets, baby. So
we do sometimes. Today we didn't get there.
That's all right. We'll be fine. You can hear what I'm saying. I can hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
If I've got a little Darth Vader echo, Luke, I am your father. That's okay. We'll get by, and I'll see if I can fix it while we're on the air. Yeah, I'm excited about actually hearing from some folks. You know, we love the chat row, but I come from a world where doing a lot of these shows, you can actually hear from some folks, but it's not a direct interaction. We're not going to have conversations, but and you mentioned, you know, kind of get something off your chest. It doesn't have to be negative. I mean, it could be positive. It could be anything. Just give a name.
Right.
I know a lot of people like to use fake names. That's fine. We're not sitting here and auditing you, but
I think we should start using fake names.
You know, I've thought about it.
You know,
Kaiser Sose or Dirk Diggler are two that I've thought about changing my name legally to.
Yeah. How do you know that I'm actually JB? How do you know that I'm not like Tom Johnson?
I have no proof. Absolutely none. For years, I thought you were Sid Farkas. And
I was.
It turns out you're actually Jamie Bradford. We think. We don't know. You could be Todd Gack. You know, you could be David Putty. We're not 100% on any of these things. Could be Paulie Walnuts. We got to figure it out at some point.
I just think the world would have a little bit more accountability if Gamecock fan 12345, who is on Twitter, it was like, you need to fire this guy and fire that guy. Like it was actually like, you know, Bill Smith, and you're like, oh, I know Bill. That guy's never played a down of football in his life. Who the hell is he to call for this guy to be fired? You know what I mean? Like we'd be like, well, this guy's but instead it's Gamecock fan 12345, and you know they get to hide behind it until you know you approach them face to face, and they're like, well, it's not me. Well, it's you. Yeah, it's you.
This is true. Well, you can give whatever name you like, but just give something we can identify you with, because I realize some people might become regulars, as is often the case on Sports Talk Radio. So we'll kind of we'll bank those, as the kids say, for the next couple hours and break open some Gamecock Graffiti at high noon, 803-250-1297. And the way this works, right, correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie, they don't hear like a Time Life operator. It just goes right to a voicemail, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, MFer. No, I'm just kidding. Phil has the details of all that stuff. I do a lot of all the other things are on my plate.
I got you.
Phil's the voicemail.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll leave that to Phil. Yeah, he says just a voicemail. Yeah, just like you're leaving a voicemail.
Yeah.
Other shows have done this. We're not breaking new ground, but it's something that we've talked about doing on this show for a while.
Hey, Stud Muffin, this is Gamecock Graffiti.
You know what? That's welcome. You know, if
I'm Phil, leave me a voicemail and maybe I'll hit you back.
For those females that love to stalk Phil and you know who you are, you can leave your message too. We might not air that, but I know Phil appreciates the attention and the overall love. Oh,
well, yeah, Phil is he is you know, like if we had our own version of sports media Playgirl, he would be on the cover of that. I mean,
no
he
question.
is very much the face and the body and the personality of like the sexiest man alive in sports.
Socket wrench changing the transmission on his Harley in his birthday suit. I think that's what many of the women have requested over the years. But look, he is a married man. Just keep it respectful if you can, ladies.
Yeah.
There's only one Phil to go around, and he is very happily married to Mrs. Phil.
Yeah, and if he wasn't, he wouldn't admit it. But
well, I would not unless you want to get a beat down. No, heck no. He's smarter than that.
Unless he wants his home to turn into Gamecock Graffiti.
That's right.
His marriage. Yeah, I don't think he would do that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How you feeling today? So, you know, yesterday was kind of what I expected. A lot of just Look, let me give one kind of big picture thought to the season thus far, and then we'll kind of whittle it down to the rest of the stuff. If you were to tell me that Carolina lost 2 games through 6 at Missouri and at LSU and was 4-2, I would have said, yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Remember, we thought, and LSU is ranked 10th in the latest poll, but we thought they could be maybe the best team in the country. They haven't looked it. And Missouri, obviously a tough place to play. Alabama finally put an end to their home winning streak. But if you would have told me 4-2, I think most fans would have been okay with that. Maybe not like doing cartwheels, but like okay. But the loss to Vandy, the 3-3, and just the anemic offense, which is really hard to watch, I think that's where what would have been a, hey, 4-2, man. Look, we could be better, could be worse. Big games on the schedule. I'm still all in. I think it's the loss to Vandy at home in convincing fashion, and just the offense can't get out of its own way. That has just bled into this toxicity that we have here in mid-October that maybe we didn't see coming back in the summertime. 4-2 and a semblance of an offense, and I think most people are happy. Mm-hmm. But you're not looking at that right now.
Yeah, it's not about the what, it's about the why. And I think that's what's discouraging. And also, if you flip the script around, and let's just say that the offense was tossing 35 points per game on the board, I mean, we were talking in the summer that this offense was like 40 yards away per game of being a record-setting offense, and since this team entered the SEC in 1992, maybe being the best one that it had ever had. And it was a logical reasoning to think that they could get there based on what they had done last year, who they returned, including their quarterback, right? So if you said that, hey, look, this team was scoring a bunch of points, but the defensive guys, it's just a step back. It's just a step back, and they just aren't good enough on that side of the ball. I think if the narrative was a little bit differently, I think people would be a little bit more understanding. But the offense has been largely a major failure per the expectations that they had set for themselves, quite frankly. I mean, this group really came around last year offensively, and you return a guy who everybody in the country would want to be their starting quarterback. It's easy to have lofty expectations. So, I think you went from the highest of highs entering the year to being pretty low from that standpoint. And yeah, absolutely. What's happened in between it is just all the, like, if you don't have an offense, that's one thing, Mike. Hey, our scheme sucks, but it's the consistency of the mistakes that have people scratching their heads. I mean, you name anything in life, like anything like what we do for a living, or what somebody does working in insurance, or if they work in the medical field, or they paint, or whatever you do in your respective career, or whatever job you have. If you just consistently make mistakes over and over and over again, it is freaking exhausting, especially when you have to watch it all the time, right? And so what do you do to fix those mistakes? And, I think obviously Shane Beamer took the first step in doing that this week. I think the question with that, by the way, and I know that Sean Elliott is the logical answer to the long-term question of, well, what do you do with the offensive line? He is in there, quote unquote, temporarily. Do you keep him there? He's a hell of an offensive line coach. We know that. We've seen it. You don't have to go out snooping around to figure out if he can get the job done or not. But also Shane Beamer will do what he usually does, which is, how can I make this staff better? So maybe it isn't long-term Sean Elliott at the offensive line position. Maybe they want to move him back to tight ends, and maybe they go find another offensive line coach. I don't think we're going to get any of those answers like now or anything like that here in the next few weeks in the middle of the season. But I do think that that's a question, and I think that that we'll probably get an answer to it at some point in time after the season, maybe in a couple of months or something like that. But it's certainly on the table at this point.
It just seems like it never all comes together at the right time. last year was close,
Yeah.
right? But last year's offense didn't exactly light the world on fire. If you stack it up to this year, you're like, I'd gladly take that. But let's not get it twisted. The offense wasn't exactly explosive last year either. They won a lot of games on defense.
That's
And-
true, but they got a lot better though. You know, if you go
Yeah,
through the
of course.
timeline, they got so like going into that season, it was the defense. We knew how good that defense was, and it was like if the offense can come along, and they did come along. They had some bumps in the road. There's no doubt about it, but they got substantially better from where they were in the first couple of weeks.
Yes. You know, Ole Miss notwithstanding.
Right.
Yes. Agreed. But like it just, we haven't seen like an offense that scares people around here in a long time. You know, you go back to Spencer Rattler, who to me is still the best like thrower of the football I've seen in a Gamecock uniform. I mean, just pure arm talent,
Ever.
reading defenses, I haven't seen anybody better.
I agree.
But one of those 2 years he was under center or in the shotgun, he had one of the worst offensive lines. I mean, it makes this offensive line look like murderer's row. That 1 year with all the injuries and everything else, they couldn't block a soul. They just had no chance. You couldn't run or pass. At least this team at times shows it can run. Showed that Saturday against LSU. Like they're not being completely mauled on a physicality standpoint. But like if that team with Spencer Rattler had just a decent offensive line, who knows how good that offense could have been, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then you have Leggett gets hurt. That's like your one go-to guy. You have the 1 year with Juice, and then Juice leaves, does nothing at Ole Miss. I don't know what Juice is doing now. It just seems like it never all comes together 1 year offensively, where I can look at an SEC stat sheet and rankings, and I can see Gamecock offense, top 5, passing offense, top 5, rushing offense, top 5, yardage, top 5. You don't see any of these things, ever. Why? It's not just Alabama and Georgia that put up points. It's not just the heavyweights, the blue bloods, that have successful offenses in the SEC. Lane Kiffin does it with a guy from Division II that wasn't even supposed to play. He does it every year over there in Oxford, right? I mean, Tennessee does it on a consistent basis, whether it's Joey Aguilar or Nico or Hendon Hooker or whoever. I mean, all these other programs, Vanderbilt is doing it now, for crying out loud. All these other programs seem to put together, not every year, but at least every few years, an offense it's like, damn, they're really good. And we just don't see that. We don't see that much at all at Carolina.
Well, and it's not like this is just a Shane Beamer thing. I mean, this has long been the case around here, except for most of Steve Spurrier's tenure, where you knew that
100%. 100. No, I mean, you could go back to. I made this same opening monologue during Will Muschamp. Trust me.
Right.
And even half of the Steve Spurrier era.
Yeah.
It's real easy to forget. The first 5 years of Steve, those weren't great offenses at all.
No, it wasn't all groovy. No, there's no doubt. I mean, they had some spurts where they looked good, and then they had some rough moments. I mean, the Lou Holtz era wasn't anything special offensively. I mean, honestly,
God no.
If you really want to go back to the most consistent offensive era that you can think of, where it kind of lit up the nighttime sky, it was the mid-90s. I mean,
yeah, and that's an SEC. It's no comparison.
I know that. I'm just saying
I know you know that.
That was the most consistent, where it was like, man, wow.
Right.
They're pretty good.
If I'm 28 and I'm listening to this conversation and I looked at a Gamecock media guide or record book and I'm like, damn, the Brad Scott offense is the best. It's not the same. Apples and oranges. The defenses in the SEC in 1995 compared to today, not the same. And if you go into the record book and you see like a passing record set as an independent in the 80s when you're lighting up Pacific, not the same. This is the true test is really like the turn of the century, from 2000 on. And when the SEC, by far and away, has been the best defensive league in the country,
Right.
the athletes are just beyond belief on that side of the ball. Everywhere you look, week in, week out. And during that time frame, I've watched a lot of programs that are not historically good still have occasional blips on the radar where they're like really good on offense and they can light it up. And we rarely see that out of Carolina.
Yeah. And then but on the defensive side, you feel like they've gotten where they wanted to get, right? Shane Beamer stuck. I mean, I talked to him about this in the preseason. I asked him, why'd you stick with Clayton White when it was all rough? And he was like, because I believed in him. This is what I liked what he was doing. And last year was historic for when you look at the history of the program. This year isn't historic, but they're not a bad defense. It's actually a pretty decent defense. You can absolutely win with these guys,
Sure.
And I like them, to be honest with you. I like this defense. If last year didn't happen, any other year, you would look at this group and go, they got a pretty good defense in Columbia, South Carolina. But
absolutely,
this group is being compared to last year's group. So obviously you're going to be able to see some differences a whole lot clearer than you'd ever be able to see on any other time. But you don't have that offensively, and they never have. I mean, it's the third OC. It's the third OC because your second OC took a head coaching gig, and I got it. I get it, but it's still your third OC in 5 seasons. Will Muschamp obviously went through a bunch of them. So yeah, I mean, you would like to see them get to that point offensively like they are defensively. This is our system. We might have some years where we're not as good, but we're going to be pretty consistent in who we are and what we do.
I'm gonna let you be the odds maker. You're Ace Rothstein. You're setting the book at the casino in Vegas. Odds that Mike Shula's back next year.
I have my doubts, man. And how do I say this? Because I have no intel on any of this. So let me be crystal clear about that. This is just
it's just an opinion.
This is just it's like more like an opinion that is kind of a gut at this point in time as it stands today on October the 14th. And quite frankly, I hope I'm dead wrong on November the 14th, because that means maybe the offense is humming and they've got some things figured out. But I don't know. I don't know if Mike is thrilled in his spot. And obviously, I'm just kind of reading between the lines here, kind of guessing that I can't believe that Shane Beamer is really happy with all of this. And so, I think that if you ask me today what happens after the last game of the year, whether that's a bowl game or just the end of this, hopefully it's a bowl game. I would venture a guess that maybe Coach Shula would be looking for something that fits him a little bit better as it stands today. That
sounds like a kind way of saying there's a good chance he gets whacked.
I would say more of
he's not going to walk away from $1.1 million in an SEC job voluntarily.
No, I don't think so. But I would say more like a mutual, let's figure out what's best for you, and then let's go do what's best for us around here. That's the way I feel today, Mike. It's
not you, it's me.
Yeah.
It's not you.
I've used that line before.
I just don't think this is working out.
Yeah, because I don't again, I don't know, and I don't want that. What I want is for it all to click and this guy to be here for 3, 4, 5 years. I think he is a good person who's good for this program. I think Mike Shula, last year, you watched how far along Lenoris Sellers came, and you got to give Mike Shula a lot of credit. I know Lenoris did. I know Dowell did. I know that Shane did. But then this year, you look at it, and it's just really kind of out of whack, But I'm hoping that that's not the case. I'm hoping starting on Saturday, it's man, maybe there were some easier fixes than we thought, and this thing is okay. But it just doesn't seem like that. It seems like you're really going to be battling this sucker until the end of November or longer.
Well, what was it a year ago? If we were to go back, and again, we don't take calls on this show. So if you would just go to chat row and I don't know if you read message boards and whatever else, what was the number one cry from fans? Who do they want fired?
Oh, yeah, Dowell Loggins for the second straight year.
Yeah. Dowell Loggins, he's trash. He's garbage. He's holding Lenoris back. You would love to have Dowell Loggins right about now. So the question becomes, can you have that kind of turnaround? Like you said, a month from now, November the 14th, maybe it all of a sudden it clicks. And let me say this. I am not setting up a case here where all of this falls on Mike Shula. I think that's ridiculous. There are players that are just simply not performing well. That's not all play calling. I mean, we heard this a year ago with Dowell Loggins too. Every time something went wrong with certain players or the offense, couldn't have been the players. It was all Dowell Loggins. He's just a bum.
Always.
There is a number of fingers that can be pointed here. There's nobody on that offense that should be pounding their chest and saying, I'm great. It's everybody else's fault. That's not reality.
We don't all act like Michael Flint used to. That's for sure. All right. It's 10:29. We are powered by Electric Bikes of Charleston. Mike, can you get us to a timeout? Because we got to get to, we don't want Preston Thorne getting upset. That's for sure.
No. And if I know Preston, he will raise the spirits. He is a positive person. And he will be able to raise the spirits for the day and maybe look at something that could be trending upward here, heading into a very difficult game. We'll talk more about that Oklahoma matchup too, because Oklahoma close. I think it's very intriguing. Let's just say, very intriguing is Troy Branham. He's kind of like the Dos Equis guy. He's the most interesting man. He plays golf. He goes to Gamecock games and he saves people thousands of dollars on mortgages. That's kind of what he does. Maybe he's not that interesting now that I think about it, because that's really all he does, I think. I don't know what else he does. He's not solving crimes. Yeah, I take it back. He's not interesting at all. But he's interesting to you if you're getting a new mortgage, because if you're getting a new mortgage, if you're getting a refi, if you're getting a different kind of mortgage, if you're getting a home equity line, whatever the case may be, reverse mortgage for seniors, then he is your guy. 803-238-0111. 803-238-0111. Yes, he resides in Columbia, but yes, he serves the entire state of South Carolina and some other states too. I know we're not strictly talking to South Carolina folks. So give him a call, 803-238-0111, no matter where you are, and see if Troy Branham can help you.
Right on cue with what we were talking about earlier. But actually, a lot of credit to whoever this is, because it's a great question. We'll come back to it, but it's from Grandpa's Basement on X.
Grandpa's Basement. I love it.
We were talking about earlier. So that's pretty funny to me, but actually really good stuff in there. Phil's going to save that. We'll come back to that here in just a little bit. But next, it'll be Preston Thorne on the morning show.
If you live in the Midlands and have a Medicare Advantage plan, please listen carefully.
Hello, I'm Joel Lurie. Due to recent congressional action regarding prescription drug costs, it's very important for you to review your plan. There are major changes that could affect your coverage and how much you pay. If you would like a review of your Medicare Advantage plan, call Lurie Life and Health in Columbia, 803-256-2067. Our service is at no cost.
Hey folks, it's Mike Morgan for Ryan Brewer Fence. That's right, you know the former Gamecock legend as a terrific college football player. Well, I know him as that too. I also know him as the guy that runs a great business, one of the best businesses in South Carolina. How do I know that? Well, for one, I'm actually a client of Ryan's. I had my home in Columbia done years ago, and his crew did an outstanding job, just as he does for everybody else. Whether you're in the market for a fence, railings, columns, or anything in between, their craftsmanship, their experience, and service second to none. Ryan Brewer Fence has over 15 years of experience with consultation and installation of residential and commercial fencing and railings. Rest assured your job will be done with an unparalleled level of expertise, and it's done on time, and they do it right the first time. Again, you're not going to do any better than Ryan Brewer Fence. The website is ryanbrewer.net. Set up an appointment today. Tell him Mike sent you.
I said, oh, Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Disaster comes uninformed. During and after natural disasters or accidents, there can be a heavy loss to property. It can become extremely difficult to bounce back to what you knew before. Having your home or office destroyed or damaged by water, fire, smoke, or mold affects your personal and business lifestyle. Resto Pros of the Midlands is here to help. Open 24/7. Call them when you need them. 803-493-0170.
You're traveling to a dealership where the savings are beyond imagination. You've just entered the buy right zone.
When you don't have a reliable car, it can turn your world upside down. Even if your credit has reached its outer limits, JT is serious about saving you money. Buy or lease a new JT's Kia for as little as $199 a month. Get 0% for 72 months and save over $7,000. You have entered the buy right zone, where we love to say, you're approved. JT's Kia Fall Savings Event.
This crowd, the atmosphere that's going to be in that stadium, ready to explode, just as they do each time their fighting Gamecocks are introduced.
And so this frenzied crowd ready for the kickoff. And the rave breaks out in Columbia.
And what you're about to see is a spectacle unto itself. Let's enjoy.
All right, it is 10:35. Welcome back inside the Gamecock Morning Show, brought to you by Palm Casual, palmcasual.com. It is the best outdoor furniture you could possibly find. And if you're coming from the Midlands, there is a big, beautiful store in Summerville, South Carolina, right there on I-26, the home of Preston Thorne. Hey, brother.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, PT?
It's just Tuesday, Preston. It's just another day. It's just another Tuesday. How's it? What was it like for you? You're the first one on the air after a loss, 6 a.m. Monday morning. I remember those days well. Don't ever want to go back, so you'll take the brunt of it for everybody. What was it like yesterday morning?
Well, the people were up and at attention. I will say that. People were up and at attention, and they were definitely, to be honest, nobody was irrational in some of the things that they were saying. You know, there wasn't any, calls for Shane's job or to throw the whole program in the trash. It wasn't really that, but they had some pointed criticisms of the game, and they were fair for sure. But yes, people were paying attention.
Which of those criticisms did you agree with? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the procedural penalties on offense is an issue. It can be a coincidence once early in the season, but now we're here mid-season and we're still having a lot of the same issues. Obviously, along the front line, along the O-line, that's an issue. But that is a problem because you can't do anything else if the offense is not good enough to be putting themselves in 3rd and 15. I said this on 4 different occasions on Saturday. I said, I don't think he has a play call for 3rd and 18.
Yeah.
And nobody does. But they were putting themselves in those situations. So that's the one I agree with the most.
Well, and it looks like Shane Beamer obviously agrees as well. The decision to relieve Coach Teasley of his duties, the short term with that means firing him in the middle of the season. Just understanding Coach Beamer as we do, Preston, and he did speak about this on Sunday night in the teleconference and saying, look, I didn't just get on the airplane and get home and decide to call my AD at 4 a.m. and just make this decision in a couple of hours. Apparently this has kind of been humming inside of his system for a while. What did you think of that decision?
It had to be something. Well, let me say this from a fan's perspective. I felt like the fans needed some blood to as a sacrifice. Like we needed something to make us to feel a little bit better. Unfortunately, for Lonnie's case, he was first in line, and I think Shane did a good job of explaining it. I don't know if scapegoat is the word because it's not scapegoating him. However, you were first online. Doesn't mean anybody else behind you can't get it either. But you were just probably first, as to say. But I think I heard Mike say it earlier. I mean, I don't think anybody in the offensive room should feel safe because nobody's really out there killing it at any position group right now. So I think that was just a little bit of notice for everybody that they need to step up.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, everybody is on high alert now, obviously. And again, we'll say this one more time. All the best to Lonnie Teasley. He's an outstanding person. The guy's a good dude, and I hope he lands on his feet, him and his family, wherever that may be. But we do know a lot about Sean Elliott, and we know what he's capable of with offensive line groups. What do you think is the first thing that will be implemented that maybe hasn't been to this point with him leading them?
I'll say something very similar that I said when Travian Robinson came into the D-line room. Some people are going to have to sit up straight in their chairs. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a big difference between the previous D-line coach and when Travian walked in the room. I got to imagine it'll be similar type of feelings. And, it might be attention to detail, or I don't know what it's going to be. But I do feel that some people might embrace the change at coaching and others might not be here for it. But it's the way forward. It's very similar to how I felt about when Travian came in as the new D tackle coach.
That was brilliantly said. Coach Beamer said something that really caught my attention the other day, Preston, because I think that the narrative can sometimes twist itself to the future of the program when you have to make major decisions. And obviously one of the things that college football fans in particular in the SEC are incredibly passionate about is recruiting. And Coach mentioned on Sunday night, he said, I'm in contact with those guys who have committed or are coming to South Carolina or whatever the case is, but I have to worry about my team right now in 2025. These guys have to have my full attention, and I got to give them the best that I can possibly give them. Personally, I thought that was the best possible message that you could send to your football team, to your fans, to your coaches, to your loved ones, whatever it is, and knowing that, hey, I am in the moment, and I am evaluating everything in the moment. And this moment right here is leading me to change. We'll worry about all that other stuff another day. Let me worry about that. You worry about you.
Yeah, I think that's a great message because to me, it sounds like what you're telling the recruits is when you get on campus, you will then be the priority. It won't be the next people. It's going to be the people that are here with us. And I didn't really think about this till you just said it, but there's also a pitch if we're doing recruiting pitches, but also saying like your development matters. And when you come on campus, I want you to be developed by somebody who can take you to the next level. I understand you might have had a relationship with, Lonnie as your recruiter. And that nothing stops you from having that relationship on forward if you want to, whatever. But as far as being developed, I want to get somebody in here that can take your skills to the next level. So I think there is some still wiggle room where you can I don't even want to say sell, where you can tell the recruits that this is still the place for them.
Great point.
Preston, can you hear me okay? Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Obviously, it's a different era where you played. You faced adversity. You had teams that faced adversity, but they weren't cashing checks every month. They weren't on the phone with handlers, perhaps talking to, hey, what's the market like in the portal? I mean, we see these things happen nationwide, even when programs are going good. And then if you hit a rough patch, we know how quickly this thing can snowball. Can you comment at all just on the modern day challenges for these coaches now compared to perhaps when you played?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge challenge. The first thing I think, and I'll say this and I'll say to everybody, I mean, Shane has a track record of being able to keep locker rooms together. And so I think you have that going for them. And his coaching style lends to people wanting to be around. Whereas if it was more of just a transactional thing, like we're here to win, the fun's in the winning, it's only about winning. Once you stop winning, then what do we? I say that about LSU. I mean, I think Brian Kelly is an excellent coach, but if we're not winning, I don't know how much I want to be around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Shane is different, and that's to his credit. But Mike, I think you bring up a great point that everybody, how Coach Holtz used to say, you can either be rowing or you could be putting your life jacket on. And, at this point, some people feel like some people start putting their life jackets on, like, I'm gonna try and save myself. So I don't know, but I do think Shane is equipped for these types of challenges.
I was whitewater rafting with some friends one time up on the Chioa in western North Carolina, and they told everybody to brace for impact, which means you have to drop to the floor of the boat as we were going to drop about 10, 12 feet. And before they could even get it out, my buddy Darren was already on the floor, and I had nowhere to go. And I thought, that son of a bitch, like I'm going to fall out of the boat. This guy knew. He knew what was coming. And here I am taking one for the team.
Yeah, that could happen. That could happen for sure.
Yeah, Darren, if you're listening, man, I made it out of that 12-foot drop. And just in case you were wondering, kind of like, what's his name? Didn't we lock you in a dumpster? Look, man, there is some positive for this offense. Okay, now they literally, I think, offensively through the air, they've been very predictable, very bland. It hadn't been good, but I mean, you take away the sack yardage in the last two games, and they've run for 443 yards on the ground. Preston, that's a pretty good spot to be in there. I know Lenore's had some of that, and with the escapability factor, I understand that Matthew Fuller had a chunk of it on 72 yards, but 443 yards is still 443 yards, if you ask me. So the question moving forward, now that they feel like they're maybe starting to get some of that figured out, is what in your mind is next for this offense to get it all to come together?
Well, I guess in triage, like we gotta stop the bleeding, and I guess that's what they attempted to do with the change at O-line, because it felt like you were playing whack-a-mole with the offense. Like, this breaks down, and this breaks up, and this mess up. So if we get a control group and we say, all right, we'll get this thing taken care of, and then maybe everything else sort of falls into place. But let's do this. On Saturday, can we have 0 to 1 procedural penalties? Regardless of how they play, regardless of how they block, regardless of anything else, let's do that. Okay, cool. Once we do that, now let's move on to the next thing. Unfortunately, it's going to maybe take a couple of weeks to get it straight, but I think you have to do that first before we can even get into these other conversations, because you're consistently putting yourselves in 3rd and 15, 2nd and 12s. You might be in a 2nd and 12 after you gained 3 to 4 yards on your first down or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're just consistently behind. So for me, let's stop the procedural penalties. I do think Coach Elliott will get that handled. I do. And then they can move on from there.
And the injuries don't help. And there's no doubt with Sean. He'll put the water boy in there if he has to. If the guy isn't going to commit a penalty, you'll play. Period. I mean, he doesn't care. It's all about accountability with him.
Because, Jamie, sorry to cut you off, but to be frank, there's nobody on the offensive line that's good enough to have penalties.
Yeah.
Like, some guys, some dudes, if to one of my best friends, like if Travell Wharton is lining up out there and he gets a false start, then you're like, all right, Travell, let's get him next time. But we don't have anybody that's that good enough that they can afford to be having those types of penalties.
It's a great point. Some guys you just say, well, what are you gonna do? Get mad at him? He's pretty good. But no, none of these guys have been good. I am concerned about Shed Surratt's injury. I can tell you that right now. I mean, if you ask me who has been the most consistent this year, it's either him or Trevon Ball, but that's saying something for Shed Surratt being a true freshman, in my opinion. So we'll see kind of what happens with him moving forward. I want to ask you about something that our buddy Pat DeMarco said yesterday. We were talking about Lenoris and the run game, obviously, and this, you can take this any which way you want to when it comes to the run game with him. But Pat said, man, when he scrambles around and it's like, oh, man, it's 3rd and 8, I got to go. He gets out there and he is a man on a mission. He picks it up. He's full steam ahead. It's like, here comes the truck. He's on the train. It's on the tracks. Get out of the way. But then there's a design run, and this is from Pat. Pat said, I feel like he kind of tiptoes into it, trying to figure out where he's going to go and what he's going to do. Have you seen something similar? Do you feel the same way?
I didn't make that observation, but that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's all in the idea of it being designed. When it's designed run, I have to hug the hip of the guard when I'm hitting this trap right here. Like I have to, it has to go in a certain place. And maybe that's just his wheels spinning a little bit. Whereas when he's all of a sudden thrust around and he can just make a play off of instinct, that might be why you might see that. But that does make a lot of sense because, people tend to say, if you can run it, if you're a running back, you can be a running back. And there's maybe, but you still have to learn how to hit the hole or let the play develop and read blocks. And that's a skill set that running backs get coached to do. And I'm not sure he's getting coached to do that too much.
Well, you mentioned the running backs. We didn't see Matt Fuller the rest of the half after he took it 72 yards to the house. And by the way, the last 15 yards, everybody thought he was going to get caught. And he said, nah, you ain't catching this.
Finished it.
Yeah, kind of had a strange dive into the end zone, kind of Superman type look. We'll have to work on that. But overall, it was pretty good. But I just, man, you talk about getting lathered up and stuff, dude. If he's that capable and he's the guy that they've been talking about as the tough yardage guy, but now he's got some wiggle and he can run away from you. At what point in time are they going to give him that type of room? They gave him a bunch of it at the end of the game in Kentucky on that final drive, but then he proves his worth the other day. And Beamer had to apparently tell the coaches at halftime, hey, do you mind giving the ball to Matt Fuller? He's having a pretty good day out there. How many carries should he get a game?
Yeah, I'd say that's something that the head coach shouldn't have to say twice. If he said it, that should be a thing that's a directive, and it should probably get done. I guess my whole outlook on that is nobody in the running back room has really separated themselves that far. So if we're going by a committee, then you go with the person who's hot, and there's nothing hotter than breaking a 72-yard run. I gotta throw you back in there to see if we can get it going again. And you just adjust the carries like that. All of a sudden, he's up to the top now, and everybody else falls in line. Because I just don't think anybody's really separated themselves that much in the room. So that was something that was very, very curious to me. And let me state strongly, I disagreed with that. I think if he was hot at that moment, he should have got more carries during earlier in the game.
Yeah, it just feels like an offense that needs some consistency. And if you got one guy who's consistent, feed him if you can. All right, so you got Oklahoma coming up this weekend. They're coming off of that loss against Texas. I don't think John Mateer looked good. I felt like he is still hurt. Watching him throw the football, he's bleeding on the field. We'll obviously see what he looks like this weekend. But you're at home back-to-back weeks, Preston. Oklahoma, for the first time ever, will walk into Williams-Brice Stadium, and then Alabama comes the following week here. Talk about this opportunity with this program, with 80,000 people at home, and what could be achieved in the next 8 quarters inside of Williams-Brice Stadium.
Well, we're not going to sneak up on him because Brent Venables is obviously telling his players, like, hey, don't sleep on this place, right? He's telling them about the chicken. He's telling them about 2001. He's got Sandstorm. He knows what we're capable of, even though, he shut us down when he was here. I would say I'm a fan. He's very good. That being said, listen, John Mateer is one of those classic, and he's fun, but he's one of those classic, no, yes. Oh, great play. Great. Oh, that was awesome. And he's fun as a quarterback, but I think he might lose a little bit of that if he's not 100% healthy. And so maybe Clayton can take advantage of him not being able to make all the plays that he's capable of.
Yeah, 20 of 38, 3 picks in that game the other day. He ran it 14 times for just 5 yards. Obviously, a lot of lost yardage in there for Mateer. You anticipate a pretty aggressive defense. I mean, Carolina generally defensively is pretty aggressive anyways. I mean, Clayton White will go after you. But with a guy like Mateer, who might be the most mobile dude they play all season long, you think they're going to try to come get him knowing that the injury's still there?
Maybe they're trying to heat him up. But again, Mateer he's a guy. I would say he's like Pavia with a little bit more skill as far as like the throws he can make and actual speed and things like that. But he's going to give you a chance to get the ball. He'll do at least 3 or 4 stupid things a game, and it's just kind of part of the fun of watching him play. But he'll do some stupid stuff, and you got to take advantage of it.
Nussmeier's like that too. I mean, Nussmeier has all the talent in the world, but he can do some pretty silly stuff every so often. You're like, whoa, where did that come from? And he did on Saturday. Carolina clipped him for it.
Yeah, it's the same type of. I mean, dude with all the arm talent, but I mean, I always make this reference, and this is what I don't think Lenoris has. Lenoris doesn't have a lot of stupid things that he does with the ball. I mean, obviously the intentional groundings, bad decision making. Okay, cool. We don't want any more of that. But like, just even watching the game, the Monday night game last night, like Josh Allen still has a lot of like YOLO and just whatever. And that's just part of the package. You just accept it as, hey, this is our guy. That's what he does. Mateer has a lot of that, and we have to take advantage of it.
Oklahoma, Alabama, back-to-back road trips, Ole Miss, A&M, and then Coastal and Clemson come at the end of the year. It's a very difficult question to ask because I think we still all feel like the Gamecocks have a bunch in the tank and the gas that hasn't been exhausted just yet. But based on where they are now, what we've seen after half of the season gone, what do you think the ceiling is for this team?
Ooh, it's a good question. Can I flip the question on y'all? Because I came in earlier.
I would love it.
I want to flip the question on y'all.
This will be like the old days in the morning show at 7 a.m. where you're waking me up with peppering me with questions you've thought about all night long.
If you just look at the score and you say, okay, they lost to the number 11 team in the nation, 20-10. Would you feel as bad as we all probably collectively feel now? What do y'all think is the reason why we all feel so collectively kind of, even though it's not that huge of a loss? Mike?
Yeah, I mentioned that at the top, Preston. Yeah. It's a great question. I think, because I said, look, if you could just flip the Vandy game, and this team was 4-2 with the only losses being on the road at Mizzou and LSU, I don't think people are nearly that upset. But it's 3-3 with a tough road to hoe, and it's an offense that has been pathetic, and that is just frustrating beyond belief. It's just going out there and watching that offense struggle week after week after week. You look at, I mean, the passing offense is abysmal. Look at it statistically in the SEC. You got guys that are led by quarterbacks no one even knew about much of that are way ahead in the passing game this year. The penalties, obviously, and I agree with you. I think that's going to be nullified. That's one thing right off the bat. That's going to get cleaned up. But it doesn't stop the fact that the offense, even when you get a clean playoff, still struggles. And so I think that's the biggest frustration point, Preston, is just to watch an offense that does have a potential first-round pick at quarterback continually struggle to move the ball, make big plays, put up points.
Yeah, that all makes sense. So it's kind of like the squandering of the potential of a guy who we know is going to be highly coveted at the next level.
And Preston, I mean, I don't know if you agree with this. I don't think it's just him. Like, I'm pretty good with these wide receivers and running backs. Like, I think you can win with those guys. But we've all covered teams at Carolina that personnel-wise, that starting 11 just didn't stack up. It wasn't SEC caliber. That's not the case. Lenoris isn't the only talented player on the field for Carolina. There is talent. They have recruited well. They have done well in the portal. But it's not yielding results. It's not showing up where this is an offense that is near the bottom of almost every category imaginable. And I don't think that's 100% play calling. It falls on the desk of your OC. You can't get away from that. But it's also players got to be accountable too. There's plays that have been there to be had that have not been made. It's a combination of all the above from what I see.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I always remind folks, I think a lot of times we just like to silo offensive coordinator as the play caller, but he coordinates the offense throughout the week. And that's
right.
He has to get
Great
that
point.
right. Getting people into the game, I think that's always a huge thing. So Jamie, to answer your question about what the ceiling is, I think if we can, if and this is huge, obviously it's a huge if, but if the offensive line can take care of procedural penalties, I'm not saying getting 0 sacks, limit opportunities for sacks. I think we can beat Oklahoma. I do feel pretty strongly about that. And then you see where it goes after that. Obviously, Alabama's playing really well right now. And so starting with this game, I think you can beat Oklahoma. I think there's a couple other games that you might could get. And that kind of makes me think that this is a huge game coming up on Saturday.
Gamecocks are now 5.5-point dogs against the Sooners. They opened at 3.5. The total's at 43.5, and there's a reason for that. Oklahoma has the second-ranked scoring defense in college football. LSU's is 5th, for what that's worth. Oklahoma's is 2nd. It'd probably be a low-scoring game if Carolina can pull it out. They're going to need the defense to play out of their minds on Saturday afternoon, in my opinion.
I will say this, having called that game, and we could make the argument Texas, even though they have 2 losses, are still an uber-talented team, because they are. But they found ways to run the ball successfully.
Mm-hmm.
Arch Manning, I would say, and I hate using this term because I know some people use it as a pejorative and trying to knock a quarterback. He managed the game. He managed the game to win. He didn't light it up, but he was damn efficient. Didn't make a mistake. He's a terrific athlete, so when he needed to run, he ran. When he needed to make throws, he made them. But he kind of pitched like a no-hitter in a way that was not uber exciting. But my point is that Oklahoma defense, which was number 1 in everything, sacks, tackles for loss, yardage going into that game, I didn't get blown away. And maybe it was Texas was just up to the challenge. So what I'm saying is, if you just look at Oklahoma statistically and you look at Carolina's offense statistically, you're like, oh, bleep, how does Carolina get to 10 points? I think there are points to be had on Saturday night. I really do, or Saturday afternoon. I think there's a chance to make some big plays and get them. But they're not going to be there often. So when they are there, you better hit them. Because that defense by Venables will not provide you a ton of opportunities. But when they pop up, you got to take advantage.
And they will because Brent likes to blitz a lot and he likes to take some chances off. So they will. There'll be some chances.
Which is what LSU did, right? They're blitzing all day long. And I, being the idiot that I am, thought there'd be some big plays in the passing game. You make them pay for that, right? Well, it didn't happen. So maybe this is the week it does.
Yeah, they're going to have to go to the quick game. That's for sure. South Carolina's going to have to go to the quick game, and screens and draws. They still work, Preston. I promise they work.
I know you have Strick on here, and he'll try to get about the SDDs, not STDs, but SDDs. Screens, draws, and delays. Man, that was good
clarification.
Yeah. Not STDs, SDDs.
That's right. Yeah, it's Strick.
But when Preston, wouldn't you like to see, like, in an obvious blitzing situation, go for broke, man. Challenge the field vertically. I mean, Ventravius Jacobs can run with the best of them. Put him on a go route. Put him on a deep post. But I mean, they're blitzing safeties half the time against Carolina. The middle of the field has been open on a lot of play. Like, try and take advantage of that when they're blitzing and they're doing it without any thought of getting beaten by the big play. It boggles the mind to me that you see that coming and you see it happening, and no big plays come out of it.
To put a point on that, Mike, I think the fourth down everybody's obviously talking about. I would have been okay with it being a deep ball and just throw it up there and let's see if he can make a play as opposed to what they tried.
Right. Maybe you get an interference call. Like, it's a 50-50 ball half the time.
Yeah.
Try it.
I'm with you. Well, look, hey, one of the issues with this offense, we're out of time with Preston, so hopefully we don't have to come back to this part next week. Maybe they've corrected it, but one of the issues throughout the season with this offense is when things get figured out by the opposing defense, Carolina doesn't have an answer. You know, they took the Nick Harbor downfield routes. Everybody's taking those away. He ain't going down there and catching deep balls and running into the end zone like he did early in the season. They've got to find a way to get back to some of that stuff. Like Trey Green the other night was the game plan for LSU. He's 6'7". There was nobody on Carolina's side who can cover him. I was texting with Strick during the game. He was like, we don't have an answer for this. Sometimes you just don't have the answer. Nick Harbor's on the Carolina side. He is 6'5", and he's faster than everybody. There has got to be something there somewhere for him. So maybe they can figure it out, Preston. I don't know. Maybe none of us know what we're talking about. You do. Maybe Mike and I don't. We're just
again. Maybe it's just the garnet glasses or whatever, but I think there's a shot this weekend. So
I agree.
Let's line them up and play.
Hey, Vegas agrees. It's not a big spread.
I think they have a shot in every game they play. We know the kids that are on this team. It's just been frustrating. All right, early game, 6 to 9. If you're up at 6, God bless you. But if you don't like being up at 6, your morning could get a lot better if you're listening to Preston Thorne, that's for sure.
Appreciate it, JB. Appreciate you, Mike.
Have a great week, man. Thank you, buddy. There you go. All right, it's 11:04. Wow, 4. We got to go because we're going to drive around the SEC.
Warm up the Kia. We will drive around the SEC. A lot of interesting tidbits out there, let's just say. And as always, our first hour brought to you in part by Midstate Roofing. Larry Leitner, Blake Leitner for all your roofing needs. 803-356-1919, 356-1919, midstateroofing.com.
All right, let's drive. We'll be right back.
Mike here for my good friend Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. Let's face it, it's been a rough go for mortgage rates the last couple of years. And now more than ever, you need someone on your side to get you the very best possible rate on a new mortgage or a refi. That's where Troy comes in. 27 years of experience working for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, renovation, rehabilitation loans, all doable with my man Troy Branham of Golden Gate Mortgage. And when I say doable, I mean the best possible rate that's out there. It's a phone call that can literally save you thousands of dollars. 803-238-0111. 803-238-0111. You can also check out the website ggmortgage.com.
This is a breaking news event. We now have boiled peanuts without the shells.
Sorry, Alex. Did you say boiled peanuts without the shells?
Yes, boiled peanuts. No shells. Go to GameDayNuts.net and order them for Game Day.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I liked that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, Freddie.
You bet.
At Moultrie Insurance, our agents are working for you. Our commercial lines of coverage are well-sourced and intimately chosen. We offer commercial lines of coverage such as business owners, umbrella, property, auto, or general liability coverage, and evaluate every option to find what fits you best. Like a good offensive coordinator, we will draw up the plays, but only run with what you feel comfortable. Get in touch with our quarterback, Perry Orth, or our head coach, Frank, by visiting MoultrieINS.com. MoultrieINS.com. Moultrie Insurance, proud supporters of the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Nana's Porch presents a Southern staple delivered right to your doorstep. Nana's Porch locally crafted pimento cheese has been a hit for years at weddings, tailgates, and other events. Now you can order online and have it sent to your home. Visit nanasporch.com. That's nanasporch.com and click the pimento cheese tab to choose between their original pimento cheese and their jalapeno smoked pimento cheese set. nanasporch.com. Man, that's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Visit GameDayNuts.net and order yours today. Boiled peanuts, no shells. Official tailgate snack of ITG. You're tuned into Hour 2 of Inside the Gamecocks, the morning show. Presented by the Barn Dough Company and Resto Pros of the Midlands. Go Gamecocks!
With a little love and some tenderness, we'll walk upon the water, we'll rise above the mist. With a little peace and some harmony, we'll take the world together, we'll take them by the hand. 'Cause I got a hand for you. Standing there, your hair was down, your eyes were red, no comb I touch your hair. I said get up and let me see you smile. We'll take a walk together, walk the road a while. 'Cause I got a hand for you, I got a hand for you. I wanna run with you, won't you let me run with you?
It's now time to take a drive around the SEC, presented by JT's Kia across South Carolina, the home of JT's Advantage Package, featuring tire rotations, oil changes, and more. Make your next road trip in an ever-reliable JT's Kia, and don't forget to check our used inventory as well. Let's drive.
Yes, it is hour number 2. Kicking off at 11:11 if you're scoring at home. JT's Kia drive around the SEC, 3 locations, Killian Road, Greystone Boulevard, and Rock Hill, South Carolina. For those of you in the upstate, check them out today. They will take terrific care of you. All right, eventually, I'm waiting on confirmation from our fearless producer, Mad Dog. I wanted to show the Georgia-Auburn clips. We'll see if we can get to that, because that was the most talked about game in terms of the controversy surrounding those two calls, one of which I would put under the game-altering category. The other one, not so much, but still kind of frustrating based on the explanation and everything else. But we'll see if we can get to that a wee bit later. The latest AP poll is out, and before we get to the SEC, number 1 is Ohio State. They beat Illinois 34-16. They got 50 first-place votes. Number 2 is Miami. They got 13 first-place votes, so they got the rest of them. And then number 3 is Indiana. They're not playing at Assembly Hall. Indiana football is 3rd in the country. Indiana's 6-0. Indiana just beat a top 5 team on the road in the Oregon Ducks. Indiana is number 3. Then we get into the first of 10 SEC teams in the top 25. Texas A&M, the Aggies are 6-0. They did get an injury blow, if you will. I'll tell you about that in a second. But they're 4th in the country right now at 6-0 after a win against Florida 34-17. Then it's Ole Miss after kind of tap dancing with Washington State. It wasn't a very impressive win, 24-21. But they did win the game, and they're now 6-0, and they're 5th in the country. Alabama is 6th in the country. Boy, did they wake up after that Florida State loss. They're 5-1. They beat Missouri on the road to snap the SEC's longest home winning streak by Mizzou, 27-24, the victory in that ball game. That's a cover, 2.5. Georgia is 9. They're 5-1. Georgia knocks off Auburn in the aforementioned controversial game of the week, 20-10. Then you got LSU 10th, Tennessee 11th, Oklahoma 14th at 5-1 after suffering the loss to Texas on Saturday. Missouri falls to 16 at 5-1. There's Vanderbilt, still sitting there in the top 20, 17th in the country, 5-1 on the year, with the only loss coming to Alabama. And then Texas, back where they probably belong, in the top 25. Texas is 4-2 after their victory. What are we looking at this weekend? Well, the early bird special is at Williams-Brice. Jamie, you want to have a diatribe how much you hate early games in Columbia? Are you okay with this?
I don't. I get to take my kids. I enjoy. I'm done. I'm tired of night games, so it looks like we won't have one for a while.
Yeah. Every now, I like to mix it up. I always said my sweet spot is if every game could be at 3:30, I would sign up for that tomorrow. But
which is next week's game, Alabama.
Which is next week's game, exactly. This one, of course, is 12:45 on ABC. Oklahoma is just a 3.5-point favorite, so it's not as if people are saying Carolina doesn't have a chance. Vegas has it at 3.5. Ole Miss is at Georgia. That's the 3:30 special. Georgia is 7-point favorite there. Going to learn a lot about Mr. Trinidad in that game against Georgia's defense on the road. That'll be his biggest test so far. A&M is at Arkansas. A&M is 7.5-point favorite. Mississippi State at Florida. Gators an 8.5-point favorite. I think Florida has a bye after that. If Florida loses that game, Billy can just go straight to his car, turn in the keys, playbook, and everything else. They want to fire him. They're ready to fire him. I don't know what the timing on that will be, but all indications are he's as good as gone. Tennessee at Alabama. Bama's an 8.5-point favorite. Texas at Kentucky. Texas a 12.5-point favorite. And the nightcap at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Missouri at Auburn. 7:45. Missouri's a 1.5-point favorite. Auburn has a nasty defense. They really do. But they've had offensive issues of their own. They don't block well. They don't perform well. Jackson Arnold struggles to read defenses, takes too many sacks, and it just hasn't worked out. This could be the second consecutive portal quarterback because they got dudes on the outside. There's not a team in the country that wouldn't take Cam Coleman and Singleton as their wide receivers. But they're not doing much in the passing game on the Plains, which is an issue. Another issue for Auburn is they've dismissed senior running back Damari Alston. Alston, who was a team captain, named team captain prior to the season, missed games to a shoulder injury, and Freeze just said he's no longer with the team because he fell short of the, quote, expectations and standards set by the program. He failed to meet those. We love him, and we wish him the best, but that's where it's at. Captain.
Doesn't sound good.
Doesn't sound real good. I mentioned some injury news for Texas A&M. Le'Veon Moss, remember he had the big injury against Carolina last year. Really talented running back. Well, he's going to miss significant time because of an ankle injury now. A&M's leading rusher suffered it in the first half in the Florida game. He had 5 carries for 46 yards and a 22-yard touchdown in that game. He's got 70 totes for 389 and 6 scores on the year. But Elko says it's going to be a few weeks to nurse that ankle. They'll have Reuben Owens II, a sophomore who's second on the team with 327 rushing yards. He'll be the primary ball carrier. Be interesting to see if Moss is back for the matchup with the Gamecocks.
Mm-hmm. And Reuben Owens, that is Reuben Owens the first son, correct?
That's typically how it works, right?
Yeah.
He's the second, yeah.
At least not junior.
Correct, yes. Yeah, that always confuses me too, actually. I don't know. If I was a junior or a second or a fourth, I'd just say, you know what, I'm good. Put that on the birth certificate. But when you call my name out, I don't need all the extra titles. And what's up with the hyphenated names? Can we do something about that?
There's a lot of NFL guys now who, once they have kids, they are seniors. Like I think Debo is Deebo Samuel Sr. now on the back of his jersey.
Okay.
I
don't know. Okay. The latest coach to get fired, of course, is James Franklin. Won 70% of his games, did a lot of good things at Penn State, was not enough. We're not done yet. You keep throwing out that number, Jamie, 2.5 in the SEC, right? Over under on coaches fired. And there's Billy Napier, and there's Hugh Freeze. Already seen Sam Pittman get fired at Arkansas. But how about this? This is from Steve Berkowitz. Firing so far this season by Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Penn State, UAB, UCLA, and Virginia Tech. Those schools, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 schools have committed to buyouts totaling $93.9 million.
What's the I saw that there's something in Franklin's. He has to be looking for a job in TV or in coaching to mitigate his buyout.
Yes, correct. Which I'm very surprised old Jimmy Sexton let that one slip by the goalie. That's not like Jimbo's buyout was the best thing ever on the planet. It's $75 million. It's within 30 days. There's no mitigation, no nothing. One lump sum payment.
Yeah.
Go buy yourself an island. Thanks for the time. But that's unusual. Most of these other buyouts are more complicated. I think the Will Muschamp buyout took quite a while to pay out, did it not?
Yeah, they negotiated it down to 13.6 or something like that.
But like it wasn't in one lump sum, was it? I don't think it was.
I think it ended up being paid in lump sum, though.
Oh, was it really? Okay. I mean, sometimes it's up to. Sometimes the school would rather just say, "Here, take it. I don't want to write you any more checks. Let's go."
Yeah,
I'm like a bad divorce. Go ahead, honey, take the house. Get out of my life.
Yeah, I think there's. I don't know how much of that's public, but I think that. I think they just cleaned it up and moved on.
Well, that's a bargain to fire a coach for $13 million these days, because that ain't happening anymore. These things are not going away. They're baked into all these contracts. So, okay, if you're a real sadist, you can bet on the next Power 4 coach to be fired. Want to take a guess on who the number one is? Odds on that? Not just SEC, nationwide.
Yeah, Billy Napier.
Close. He's 2. But this guy is an automatic, it seems like. And everybody wanted this guy a few years ago. Wisconsin head coach Luke Fickell. He is minus 250. You got to bet more money to get some money. Talk to your man, Mr. Raphael, about that. Luke Fickell is almost an automatic that he's going to get whacked.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bad, though.
I mean, do you remember what a hot commodity he was?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wanted Luke Fickell.
Yeah.
Hadn't worked out. You know, there's some programs, the DNA, I don't know if you can change Wisconsin into a passing school. Tried Phil Longo. Maybe they just need to get back to Brett Bielema ball. Ground and pounded over there in Madison. Billy Napier is number 2. He's plus 150. Hugh Freeze of Auburn is 3rd, plus 250. How about the guy that's lost 8 consecutive ACC games, Mike Norvell of Florida State?
I mentioned that yesterday.
13-0 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Plus 400. Mike Loxley of Maryland, plus 600. Mark Stoops of Kentucky, plus 800. Those odds would be astronomically greater if the buyout wasn't $39-40 million. Then Justin Wilcox, plus 1,100. And the last guy on this list, Shane Beamer, plus 1,250. It's a long shot. I don't think that's going to happen.
I would say it's a pretty long shot.
But that is on the Vegas board. Alabama. Remember when Kalen DeBoer was a bum and people were calling up Paul Feinbaum and offering to move him out of town?
Mm-hmm.
Well, now he's beaten a ranked opponent in 3 straight weeks. Do you know how many times Nick Saban did that in 17 years?
Ooh, he probably did it once or twice.
1 time.
Yeah.
In 2016. Now, look, you have to play 3 ranked opponents in a row to actually do that, which is more likely in the SEC than it's ever been. Just ask Carolina, playing 5 in a row. But yeah, DeBoer joins Nick Saban now, who did it in 2016. Through 6 games, Ty Simpson is one passing touchdown away from matching what Alabama had all of last year with Jalen Milroe. He's thrown 16 touchdown passes through half a season.
Yeah.
They have found themselves a hell of a thrower over there in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee, the Volunteers' 3 SEC games have been decided by a total of 13 points. Have you noticed, like, no one's even talking about Tennessee? It's like they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah.
It's like, they're there, but they're not there. 3 SEC games, they've been decided by a total of 13 points. They've allowed an average, this is part of the reason why, of 36 points per game in that stretch. So the defense is not exactly getting it done in Knoxville. Their top running back, Deshaun Bishop, was injured in the second half against Arkansas. We'll see how he looks and his availability for Tuscaloosa on Saturday night. Stat of the day on A&M. Their success on third down defense is absurd. So the Gators go 1 of 10 on third down. All right, Florida's offense hadn't been that good anyway. But in the SEC this year, A&M opponents against that defense for the Aggies have gone 2 for 33 on third down. That's SEC opponents. No cupcakes. Auburn hosting Missouri Saturday night. I'll be there on the plains. Looking forward to that. Auburn is now 5-12 at home since 2021. They've got Missouri, Bama, and Kentucky left on the schedule at Jordan-Hare. Which, have you ever been there for a game? I mean, it's an unbelievable home field advantage. It's a terrific play, and that place was absolutely on fire. You had Cam Newton there. You had all these guys. Problem ain't the crowd. They haven't given up, but they're not winning. It's a head coach now in Hugh Freeze that is 3 games under 500 overall, and he has now lost almost as many SEC games as he's won, 14-5. He's also a head coach that's 2-11 in games decided by 10 points or less. That's a very Sam Pittman-esque type number. The Hugh Freeze, Philip Montgomery offense, through 6 games this year, Freeze's offense, which is stacked with, again, mostly talented and experienced players, averaging 331 yards, 24.7 points per game. Not
and that's because they played Ball State.
Yeah. Finally, a little hoops coming at you. The voting tabulations, we touched on this briefly yesterday. Top 5 teams in the SEC predictions: the defending champion Florida Gators 1, Kentucky is 2, Tennessee is 3, Alabama is 4, and Arkansas, which has a loaded roster of returnees and new players, is actually picked 5th. That's a little bit of a disrespectful point for Cal to be on. The preseason player of the year is Ote of Kentucky. And on the women's side, of course, South Carolina picked number 1 again. And the preseason player of the year is Madison Booker of Texas. Madison Booker of Texas. Joyce Edwards did make the preseason All-SEC first team there. And that does it for your JT's Kia drive around the SEC.
Yeah, 6 SEC teams in the preseason AP top 25 in college basketball. We'll see if they preseason AP top 25 in college basketball is any better than it is in football with the carousel that we have in college athletics today of players.
Yeah.
Again, nobody knows who anybody is. So, is Arkansas the 14th best team in the country ahead of Alabama? Yeah, we'll see. All right, so it's 11:27. We need to hit a quick break here. Reminder, Gamecock Traditions will send it to your door, but also you could get the Beat stickers. You get to put them back on this weekend and walk into Williams-Brice Stadium for the first time ever, for the first time ever in the history of Beat stickers. You get a Beat Oklahoma sticker in Williams-Brice Stadium. How about that? Some history being made this weekend as the Sooners walk in their first trip to Columbia, and Carolina, of course, hoping to welcome them with a loss, and they would stay undefeated all time against Oklahoma football. That would just be remarkable, right? Name one other team in college football that's undefeated ever. against Oklahoma. It's actually honestly a pretty neat opportunity here. You get two of the most historical programs in college football history walking in back-to-back weeks, Oklahoma and Alabama. That's a pretty neat setup. So get your beat stickers, Gamecock traditions in Lexington.
I do have a little tease to break. I do have closure on the special teams, the fake punt. That was not a fake punt because of the officiating stopping the fake punt. I do have clarification on that. Whether or not we get Dennis on today, I do have clarification from another, from an actual college official on what happened.
Well, we have that video, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I didn't even get to the Georgia. That's my bad. I didn't get to the Georgia Auburn video.
We've got that video too.
Yeah, we got a lot of video. We're going to bank a lot of video. And what's that phone number again for Gamecock Graffiti? I forgot.
It is 555-803-250-1297. It's scrolling on the bottom of the screen.
Look forward to hear from you folks at high noon. Any thoughts that you might have on anything going on in the world of athletics?
And we'll hit a quick timeout. Some news actually from the University of South Carolina pertaining to athletics, or somebody in the world of athletics in the school. We'll give that to you and more on the other side.
Hey, this is Cornbread Cowboy, and you're listening to the show. We'll be right back.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture are proud supporters of our Gamecocks. We have been making and supplying the highest quality outdoor furniture you can find for almost 5 decades. If you use your outdoor space to watch the Gamecocks, make it the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com or visit one of our 4 locations in South Carolina. Go Gamecocks!
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting. Hydraulic disc brakes, torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
It's football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Watch JC and Morgan every week on the Chief Sports Network. Now back to ITG.
This is the Chief Sports Network. Happy Halloween.
It is 11:33. Welcome back inside the Gamecocks, the morning show built by our friends at the Barn Dominium Co. Don't forget, get your game day nuts. Get your game day nuts. They're as good as they come out there. Hey, look, man, I know that Carolina's not off to the best start this year at 3-3. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy great boiled peanuts, and you don't have to open the shells. Like if your kids leave shells everywhere, what's better than these things? They don't have them, and they taste amazing. And I'm a boiled peanut screw job, if you will. I love boiled peanuts. Every roadside stand, I stop, I get a bag, I rank them. It's hard to rank them because I've had probably 10 million bags in my life, but these are at the top. They're so good. Head to GameDayNuts.net and pull up the Chief Sports app. You can order them right there. So some news. South Carolina, their Department of Sport and Entertainment Management is one of the best in the country. It's one of the best in the country. They do an amazing job, obviously, and many of us have been part of that at some point in time. It will have a new name. Panthers owner David Tepper and his wife, Nicole, have given the school $5 million to rename the Department of Sport and Entertainment Management, the Tepper Department of Sport and Entertainment Management at the University of South Carolina.
Their daughter went there.
She did. Yeah. They've already donated like $1.5 million towards scholarships, and they're giving even more. They're giving $5 million more to rename it. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I said this a couple years ago. I felt like, I mean, I don't have evidence of this, but look at the roster. I felt like the Panthers were trying to make it like a real effort to sign as many Clemson and Carolina guys as they could because they weren't very good. So why not go sign some guys we think are pretty good, but are also from these two schools, make it a true Carolina thing? I still believe that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I that might have a little mileage with some folks. I think there's many people, especially if you're not in the upstate, that feel a disconnect with that franchise altogether.
Oh, sure.
It's felt like Charlotte's team. My old co-host used to call them the Charlotte Panthers all the time. They've just done very little to bridge the gap, and just drafting Carolina and Clemson players is not going to do it. There has to be other things that could be done to actually do that, but they've not done it.
Well, there's one thing that they need to do: win. That's it. Yeah. You know, but there's a lot of people around here who will hop on the bandwagon if they win.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I think a lot of people around there have other teams they root for, and they don't feel this connection with that franchise, and that's been like that for a long, long time. Not saying everybody. Some folks, I'm sure, listening right now are huge Panther fans, and that's terrific. But I know when we used to try and talk Carolina Panther football on the show, it was a big zero. There's no connection there. Mm-hmm. There's just no connection there, and that falls on ownership and management. There's ways to do it, and it hasn't been done.
Yeah. Well, they're 3-3 this year. Hey, the Bucks might not be the shoe-ins to win the South. The Falcons and the Panthers might have something to say about that. We'll see. Both of them have won 2 in a row. How about this, by the way? The Falcons this year, I don't know if I've ever seen this. They have scored 100 points through 5 games, Mike. They have allowed 100 points through 5 games, Mike. 2020. Pretty crazy.
I'll tell you what, Bijan Robinson, man, he is special. There are very few backs that I'm like, oh man, I would spend a high pick on him, because there's so many good ones. You can get a good running back in the 5th round. Just ask Rocket Sanders. Like in the old days, Rocket Sanders might have been a 1st-round draft pick, but that's not the way they draft running backs anymore. Mm-hmm. But Bijan Robinson is one of one. Mm-hmm. He's really a special talent. And they've drafted a ton of like top 10 offensive weapons. If Kyle Pitts ever got his head out of his rear end, there's no telling how explosive that offense can be. Penix is still learning, but one of the things I always liked about Penix in college, remarkably accurate. Not the most athletic, but damn if he couldn't drop dimes all day long. He did it at Indiana, and he did it at Washington, and he won at both places. That kid's he's a dog. And so they got criticized for the pick, especially after you spent $100 million on Kirk Cousins. But they could actually be a team that could be on the rise. I'm not so sure about the Panthers, but definitely Atlanta. And then Tampa's Tampa. Baker Mayfield, to me, is still one of the best stories of just resurrecting his career. Speaking of the Panthers waived him in their infinite wisdom. Baker Mayfield right now is your MVP in the National Football League. And he was in the trash heap for a couple of years. Nobody wanted him.
That's true. Yeah, he's obviously got some new life down there. I mean, we always knew how talented he was. I mean, it was just a matter of can he kind of keep it together, which he so far has done that. How about the clip? Was it last week or the week before? He was going back and forth with the fan. Did you see that? Oh, you might have sent it to us. Did you send it to? Wasn't that you that sent me the clip of him yapping at the fans? Or the fans were yapping at him?
I mean, I'm not surprised. Baker can, he can deal it. No doubt about that. He's never been bashful about talking.
No. Yeah. I want to go back to something that, where was it earlier? I said, we'll come back to it. I promised you I would. Obviously, we've had a lot going on, so we haven't been able to, but it was there it is. Grandpa's basement. Remember old Grandpa? He popped in earlier. I don't know if he's still listening or watching or whatever. I want to read the
Grandpa's basement. This might be my favorite handle.
Grandpa's
basement. Is that a picture of Grandpa?
Yeah, it's Grandpa.
Oh, it's fantastic. Come on.
He says, how much faith do you have in the program to make a quality OC hire? I know there have been rumors that Brennan Marion and Eli Drinkwitz were interested in being an OC once upon a time when they were available to do that. Who would be a likely OC candidate? First and foremost, thank you for asking a good question without any emotion behind it. We really appreciate that around here. It is not often that comes without opinion. Let's also remind everybody that there's not an OC opening at South Carolina. I'm not taking a shot at you, Grandpa, but there is not an opening at South Carolina. But you asked a question, so I'm going to do my best to answer it, and Mike will do his best to answer it as well. To this point, I would say how much faith do I have in what is quality? I think that Shane Beamer needs to decide exactly where he wants to be offensively. What type of system does he want to have at South Carolina? That's question number one. And I would say that this is my opinion formulated off of the opinions of others and conversations that I have had in front of all of you, but also many of them off screen, something that is a little bit more conducive to 18 to 35-year-old kids, because you can stay in college as long as you want to now. You just keep suing the NCAA, stick around. You get what I'm saying, 18 to 22, 23-year-olds. I feel like that what they have been doing offensively when it gets there, yes, you can have a lot of success with it, and ultimately if you're having success, you will have fun. But I do also feel like, Mike, that under Coach Loggins, certainly under Satterfield, and once again under Mike Shula, this is just my opinion, again, based on the opinions of others, that there is just really a lot that needs to all happen simultaneously, as in any offense, but more so in these offenses, in order for it to not only become successful, but to be able to sustain that success. And what do I mean by that? Well, there are offenses in college football where if a guy makes a bugaboo, things are still okay. Things are still okay. You can still move the football down the field. There is kind of an audible or a solution somewhere out there. At South Carolina, it seems like if one guy screws up something, the whole thing goes shebang, and then you don't really have any answers off of shebang, if that makes sense, until you've worked through this for 5, 6, 7 games, and then it all starts to click and the light comes on, and by that point in time, maybe you've cost yourself a couple of ball games. And I'm not an offensive guru. Shane Beamer's never going to ask me my opinion, and I know that. This is strictly mine. I just feel like they need to have something that can come out of the gate with a little bit more flair, that if you have to plug and play, it has a chance to be more successful when a player goes down, when a player transfers, whatever the case is. I don't think they have that at South Carolina. Brennan Marion, I don't know a ton about the Brennan Marion story. I would go with you on that with rumors. I certainly heard some things, but was never able to confirm any of it. Eli Drinkwitz was very interested in being the OC at South Carolina. I can tell you that. And he was not hired by Will Muschamp, and that stuck in his crawl, and clearly he has taken it out on the Gamecocks. Go look at his overall record. As far as who would likely be a candidate, it's another quality question, Mike. I wouldn't even dare try to answer something like that. Out of respect for the current OC, Mike Shula. B, out of respect for the process. We have no idea what happens day to day in college football anymore. What we know today, we will not know tomorrow. We certainly won't know in November, and absolutely won't know in December. So I don't know how any of that would unfold. But if they were to ever make a change, I would hope it would be something that would be – is clickable a word? Can we use it? Can we use that term here? Clickable? Something that would be a little bit more clickable for South Carolina as opposed to a process.
Yeah, look, if it becomes available, there's always candidates out there. There's guys that are just dying to be an OC at an SEC program that pays SEC dollars. So we can come up with 20 names. There's not a shortage of guys that can do it. So throwing out names at this point, it doesn't really mean anything.
No.
So I'm not going to necessarily engage in that, but there are plenty of people that are qualified and would be a good fit. And obviously that's what the coaching staff thought Mike Shula would be going into this season. You know, he had a resume, done it a long time, but he hadn't done it in a few years, right?
Or at this level.
Which
I think is important.
Oh, I do too, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. But yeah, there's just no shortage of people that can do the job and would gladly want to do the job at a place like South Carolina. So I don't know. I mean, we'd sit here and throw darts at a board who the top candidates would be, but it doesn't really matter.
I think that would be pretty horrible radio, to be honest with you, because we you know, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the offensive line coach. Like in theory, Mike, I'm a huge Sean Elliott guy. Just for anybody wondering, I will paste that on the walls. I love Sean Elliott, love everything about him. I think the guy is so super smart, and he is all South Carolina. But to also like be fair to football, to the Gamecock football program, like if you asked me today, well, God, all right, we got Sean Elliott back there coaching the offensive line. Yes, and right now that's probably the best thing for Gamecock football. But if Shane Beamer decides, look, I think I just need to probably take this, what we have been trying to do offensively around here for a few years, let's go put this on the shelf and let's remake ourselves. Let's kind of reinvent Gamecock football on the offensive side. It might not be a guy like Sean Elliott that fits into that type of scheme. It might be, but it might not be, right? So speculating on like future coaches and position groups and this, that, and the other, to me gets a little scary. And I don't think it's very fair to anybody. I think that they need to decide who do they want to be. And then you go find that person. And knowing Shane Beamer, he's probably got a list. He always has one. All of them do. And if that's the direction he wants to go, then they would look at everything else and go, well, these are the coaches that we have. Do they fit the mold for that type of offense around here? If not, then you would probably see some more changes.
Who do you think the quarterback is next year?
Well, it's the transfer world, man. I don't think it's Lenore Sellers.
Well, no, I know. I've already written off that. I know that Pat made a point yesterday, like he wouldn't spend a first-round pick on Lenore Sellers right now. And I understand where he's coming from. Like, but from the same standpoint, I know how they draft quarterbacks in that league. And even if the season continues to go the way it is and it's a non-plus year for him, he's going to still, the Todd McShays of the world are going to go goo goo gaga over his physical skill set. Yeah. And so there's a very good chance he will still be he's not going to be the number one pick, but still be a first round pick. And so if that's the case, he's gone. I mean, he's not coming back and turning down the money for that. So I've already kind of written off that 2026, you're looking at a new quarterback. And so the reason I asked you that question is not to put you on the spot. I think you have to make a decision. Like, what is the offense going to look like with the personnel that you have? Lenore Sellers is a very unique quarterback, right? I mean, the way you run an offense with him is not necessarily how you would run it with, I don't know, take your pick of a guy.
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer Rattler. Exactly. Yeah. Thank you. That's the one I should have made, but I'm sitting there like going back into like the 90s.
I got you back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks. But yeah,
yes, in school,
it's really paid off. So I mean, you have to make a decision. Like, what do you want it to look like? You know, some programs, like Florida State, made a decision to hire Gus Malzahn. That basically limits how you recruit quarterbacks and who you're going to play. Because if you're a drop back passer, you have no business playing for Gus Malzahn. You have no business playing for Gus Malzahn. So if you're like Carson Beck, you're not going to a school that has Gus Malzahn's offense. But if you're a Lenore Sellers, you might. Mm-hmm. So the question becomes like, what do you want your offense to look like? And at some point that goes to the doorstep of Shane Beamer. Like, what does he want the identity of this offense to be? Because you're not going to have another Lenore Sellers. You're not going to have that type of running quarterback that is just nearly impossible to bring down. But you also might have a guy that's a much better pocket passer in the future. They're out there. So what do you want to do? That goes back to, what are you looking for out of an OC? Because they're not all built the same. Everybody's got a different scheme. And I don't know what it's going to look like next year. But part of the equation would be who the quarterback's going to be. And they've recruited well at quarterback. But you also bring up a good point. The trend now is, unless you are 100% certain that kid who's never played in the big time is ready to go, what a lot of programs are doing is, I'm going straight to that portal and I'm plucking a guy who's already proven and ready to go. You know, that's what Oklahoma did with John Mateer. What else Oklahoma did with John Mateer, and what some other schools are doing, like Vanderbilt with Diego Pavia, they're taking the OC with them, like a package deal. So could it be a situation where Carolina, again, if it's open, they find their portal quarterback, you know, the guy that they've got zeroed in on, and they say, okay, let's sweeten the pot. We'll not only pay you a ton of money, we'll also hire your offensive coordinator. So the transition will be very smooth. You already know the playbook. You already know everything. That is happening more and more now in college football. And I just wonder if maybe that's something that Carolina looks at.
Yeah, it's such an interesting question, and I agree. And it's a really interesting transformation of the sport of college football, because the way that I view that is a Band-Aid. I look at that as a Band-Aid. I think that Shane Beamer, and I'm not saying that it's always a Band-Aid. Sometimes it's a Band-Aid and then you rip the Band-Aid off, and that's just who you're going to be moving forward. It gave you a jump start. You know, to your point, you go out and find the quarterback, and he's got the OC, maybe a group of five type guy or something like that comes in, he runs it for a year or two, he's off to the NFL or whatever he's going to do. And then the next guy is groomed for the system. That's the system you wanted. You were just able to get it with a quarterback that you also wanted too. But those aren't a dime a dozen, as we all well know. You almost have to kind of luck up into getting something like that. I think that I'll be interested to see what Shane Beamer wants to do as the season goes along, if things don't improve under Mike Shula, and then obviously ultimately in the offseason, because he's I think Shane more has the long term in mind with every decision that he makes. Now, every decision that you make doesn't always work out long term, and we all know that. But I think that he always has the long term in mind when he does make the decision, if that makes sense. So, historically, I would say that a guy like Coach Beamer would look at that type of situation and say, Mike, I don't know that I want to go rent this for a couple of years and then have to figure out what to do from there if that's what happens. Then we got to all of a sudden make a change. I want to hire a guy, and hopefully that guy will be here for 4 or 5 years, and then he'll move on and be a head coach. But we are in this day and age, look around, where coaches are getting hacked all over the place. One bad year and you're out the door, removed from knocking on the door of a national championship last year. If it could happen at Penn State, why can't it happen at South Carolina? Do I predict that Shane Beamer's going anywhere? Absolutely not. I don't. But let's say that this year doesn't work out very well and they don't go to the postseason and they open up next year. We know what the schedule is, except for one game, but we know what the schedule is, and they open up next year and all of a sudden they're 1-4. It's going to be loud, right? And do I think that's going to happen? Well, of course I don't. But if you're Shane Beamer, you have to protect yourself like that could happen. That's the nature of the beast. So if there is that type of thing that's out there, to your point, you do probably have to switch gears and take a good, long, hard look at it. Carolina has done an excellent job at recruiting the quarterback position. Let's be honest about this. Where does Air Nolan end up? Like, does he stay in Columbia? He was a highly recruited kid. I know that he hasn't come along like I think that they wanted him to come along, Mike, but an off-season with him, could he get there? Well, I would venture a guess he probably could. They love Cutter Woods, and obviously Landon Duckworth is one of the premier quarterbacks coming out of high school football across the country. They like where they are from that standpoint, but it's a win-now situation. So going back to your question, your original question, who do you think starts next year? I would put that in 3 categories. One, the current guy, which I'm going to put that out. The other would be somebody on the roster or incoming committed. I'm going to put that second. I personally believe you'll have another transfer at this position as it stands today.
Okay. And by the way, just for me to be clear, when I say like what Oklahoma did with Mateer and Ben Arbuckle, I'm not saying after Mateer's gone, you hire another OC. They like Ben Arbuckle, period.
Yeah. And that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's a short-term and a long-term move. It's a short-term move in that you get a good OC and a quarterback what would Oklahoma be without Mateer? I realize he's coming off a bad game. We'll see how he does Saturday at Williams-Brice, but he was basically playing the best football of any quarterback in the country for most of September. Like they got their money's worth already with him, and Arbuckle's dialing up plays like the other guys before him did not do. But they're not going to cut off Arbuckle. Like that wasn't just hey, we're just bringing you in here because of the quarterback, kind of like a basketball. You hire the kid's dad so you get him to sign. No, that's not what this is. Yeah. Arbuckle is who they really want long term. If Carolina went that route and had kind of a package deal, you also hire a guy that's actually good at what he's doing, and it would be in the plans long term. I don't know. I mean, these are just the options that I see other programs doing and having success with. That's it. They are. Go back to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was, Clark Lee was as good as fired. And he went to New Mexico State and got Jerry Kill and the other cat who's actually calling the plays, but it's really Kill's offense. And they got Diego Pavia and one big package deal and an All-American tight end. And they flipped that program around to the point where it's the best it's looked since James Franklin. Remember him? Yeah. You can be really creative with this if you want. You can be really. I don't think there's anybody on the staff, right? There's not going to be. You're not going to promote somebody on the staff to OC.
There's only one guy that you technically could that would have the experience of doing that, and that's Markel Blackwell. But Shane Beamer's, that's not happening.
They're going outside. If Shula doesn't last, if there's a change, they're going outside, and at that point, you could make the argument, and I think a pretty strong one. It's the most important hire Shane Beamer will ever make.
Oh, no question about it. No question about it. These guys can recruit. South Carolina is a football program that has proven that they can win. They've got to score points, and they need a system. We'll see. All right. We got to go because it's 11:58. So we're going to hear from some of the folks that watch us, Mike, or listen to us.
Or listen. You don't have to even watch to know that phone number, 803-250-1297. Leave yourself a little graffiti, audio graffiti. We want to hear from you. We want your thoughts. We've talked enough. I'm tired of talking. I'm going on a talk strike. I'm going to be a paid protester. The money's pretty good in that.
Well,
you don't even have to believe what the sign says. You just stand up there and act like an idiot for a few hours, make a nice paycheck.
Look around the country. There's a lot of people that don't work and they just tear crap up every day. They're making money somehow.
It's really not bad work if you can get it. Fencing is not bad work too. I mean, that's why Ryan Brewer hires nothing but the best fencers out there. And if you want the best for your home or for your business, Ryan Brewer Fence has you covered. Best craftsmanship for fences, columns, rails. They can handle it all. Experience, quality, efficiency with over 15 years of experience, the meticulousness, and the results that you expect. From Ryan Brewer, ryanbrewer.net. You can even get a free estimate right there online.
We will be with you for one more hour. JC is sick. Thoughts and prayers to Sherbert as he figures out his nose, whether to cut it off or keep it on.
Don't cut it off. Don't do it.
Don't do that, JC. But we'll stick around. We'll also get to some of the plays that happened this past weekend, and we'll fuss and discuss that. On the other side, in the final hour of the morning show / the show here on the Chief Sports Network.
Home fitness has evolved. With Matrix, now there's no limit to the ways you can chase your goals. It's time to make your next workout whatever you want it to be. You can use all of your subscriptions or none at all. Take on exclusive hit programs or move through immersive HD destination footage while you sweat.
Visit charlestonfitnessequipment.com.
Palm Casual Patio Furniture are proud supporters of our Gamecocks. We have been making and supplying the highest quality outdoor furniture you can find for almost 5 decades. If you use your outdoor space to watch the Gamecocks, make it the best it can be. Visit palmcasual.com or visit one of our 4 locations in South Carolina. Go Gamecocks!
You're traveling to a dealership where the savings are beyond imagination. You've just entered the buy right zone.
When you don't have a reliable car, it can turn your world upside down. Even if your credit has reached its outer limits, JT is serious about saving you money.
Buy or lease a new JT's Kia for as little as $199 a month.
Get 0% for 72 months and save over $7,000. You have entered the buy right zone,
where we love to say, you're approved. JT's Kia Fall Savings Event.
Remarkable, 5-star, sensational. These are just some of the terms used to describe nationally renowned chef William Turner out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Originally from Georgetown, South Carolina, and a diehard Gamecocks fan, Chef Will made his way out west and has served parties from every state and many countries from across the globe. Visit chefwilliamturner.com to inquire about private events and more. Food from every culture, all of it first class. chefwilliamturner.com and Chef Will Turner on socials. You won't believe what you see. You really won't believe how it tastes.
Dirty, scratched, worn, or unsightly. Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution, your solution for dull wood floors that need an upgrade. Our one-day, dustless, wood floor finishing process is simple, effective, and affordable. Our goal is to serve as many customers as possible, so give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365, or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
The Aventon Adventure 2 takes the same basic design as the original Aventon Adventure, making it an adventure bike designed to take you places that typical roads just don't reach, allowing you to ride whatever terrain you want based on your whims of the day. Look at what you're getting. Hydraulic disc brakes, a torque sensor for responsive pedal assist, great LED lighting, suspension, a beautifully welded frame with excellent build quality, included rear rack, included fenders. The list just keeps going on.
Visit electricbikescharleston.com for more.
Hey Gamecock Nation, my name is Kyle, longtime listener of the show and avid golfer. I wanted to take my game to the next level, but let's face it, golf is a hard game to learn on your own. I heard the ad from McKellar Enterprises and reached out to the owner and former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor. In just 2 months of working with Meredith, I shot my lowest round ever, and I've never felt more confident in my golf game. So if you're looking to take your game to the next level, go to McKellarEnterprises.org and book your lesson today with former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor. Go Gamecocks!
Time to let loose all that internal frustration. Air those grievances. Ladies and gentlemen, what's your beef? It's time to be heard. Welcome to Gamecock Graffiti.
Oh man! All right, we
well done.
Yeah, I like that.
Well done, man.
And you're right, the music slaps, man. It's good.
What an artist. What an artist.
Well, you know.
Don't be humble. Don't be humble on me.
That's right. Just be like, you know what? Yeah, killed it.
Sometimes you get enough sleep.
Always a plus. All right, so we'll go one at a time.
We've got. Well, I'm sitting here thinking, how many do I actually have? 3? Hold on, I've got.
Okay.
I've
3.
I have an older one. Yes. That,
wait a sec.
That came in. Oh yeah, this was like one of the first callers.
Well, how old are we talking here? Is this like Will Muschamp era or?
Oh no!
Fire Sparky Woods.
Yeah, right. Not that far. It's late Spurrier. No.
Jeff Grants for Heisman. I'll hang up and listen.
Either. Or do I even have that in here? I don't think I do. Never mind. I'll play it. I'll dig it up for next time. I'll dig it.
All right.
Next time. Yeah, because it was good, and here it is. I found it. Boom, just like that. I just talked my way right through it. I get to play it. This one is not necessarily on any subject matter in particular. However, it does involve a Mr. Mike Morgan. So
God. Hey, is there?
This is the lead one, really?
Yeah, we're gonna kick it off with this. We're gonna kick it off.
Do we have to?
It's good.
Is parental discretion advised?
No. I have gone through and made sure that there are no red flags in any of these. So here we are. This is Haney from Honeypath.
Haney,
Mike Morgan. You once upon a time back in 1999 took my roommate and I out for a meal at Dee's Wings. You were working the basketball game. It was Carolina versus Georgia in the Coliseum. And my roommate and I were in the student section, and you walked over and asked some sort of trivia question to the students just to kill time. And I answered it correctly, and you took us out for a meal at D's Wings as a reward. I think you did it maybe sometime during the next week. Anyway, I want to do it again. So, anytime you're ready, this is Haney from Honey Path. Let me know, and we can get together.
Oh, I
Go
like
Cock.
that, Haney. Haney with a steel trap memory.
Yeah, man. Do you remember that, Mike? I know it was an awfully long.
I know. Back in the day, I took a few just people based on whatever listeners to the show, to Gamecock games, to D's. That was the spot to do it.
Okay.
And so I don't remember Haney in particular, but he sounds like a fine gentleman. And maybe Haney, we can relive that memory. So I'm always up for going to D's with good people. So we'll see if we can't do that again.
That phone call was from December 16th, 2021.
That was a Carolina Coliseum going back.
Right. I mean, he's reaching back there.
Wow.
I was like, so it very well could have been from.
Hey, I was pinching pennies back at the Carolina Coliseum. I was surprised I didn't say, well, can we just make it Burger King?
They're right.
By the way, I stand on business with this. I mentioned this to Coach Tanner one time. He failed me. I'm going to bury Coach Tanner for this. Okay. Potholes aside, shrubs, grass not cut, all that type of stuff that he gets blamed for still. I'm burying Coach Tanner for this. I said, Coach, why don't we do a throwback weekend every year? Sunday for the women, Saturday for the men in the Carolina Coliseum. One weekend a season for Gamecock basketball where they get to play in the old gym. You'd sell it out, man. There'd be so many people who'd love to go back in there and watch basketball.
It was a great spot.
We can't
none of us were old enough, but I knew enough of the older fans to get in line and get tickets for the Carolina Coliseum back in the day. I mean, the McGuire days. That was a damn spectacle. It was unreal. And I'm glad I got to work in that building. It was awesome.
I just popped over and took it off private and looked at the comments in the chat box. Careful, Mike. Could be Dahmer 2.0, and then you had to fall. You about a size 14, Mike? Can you help me with this sofa?
Mike's not in a bathroom either. He's in a cathedral. That's what I thought we cleared that.
He is in the bathroom, as a matter of fact. Mr.
I
Pinkham.
thought it was.
I've got to clean that up. I've got to correct. Maybe I'll be able to fix it this hour. New microphone, same software, different setting. I don't know.
It puts the lotion on the skin. All right, fine. I'm putting the lotion on.
There was a time where there were like 3 Dahmer documentaries at the same time, and Netflix.
They're all right now.
They are all creepy as hell, man. I didn't know that story until, we all knew the name and the jokes, but I really didn't know the whole story until watching some of that. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that Ed Gein story is pretty crazy. Say it, don't spray it, brother.
Almost watched that last weekend. Yeah, I got caught up in something else.
Pretty freaky. I know. I got a couple things I need to squeeze in today and tomorrow because the Diplomat is back on Thursday.
Oh,
all right.
Well,
what's number 2 here?
Roll
Gamecock
along
Graffiti.
here. Yeah, with Rod from Ridgeway, South Carolina.
Hey guys, it is Rod from Ridgeway here, and it's time to really call this 2025 season what it is. Offensively, we are seeing coaching malpractice. There is talent all over the field, plenty of it, and yes, I know there's been some injuries on the offensive line. Now, I have never been one to call for coaches' heads. I was a high school football coach for 20 years, and I have always sided with coaches. But what we are seeing under the Mike Shula offensive coordinator regime is coaching malpractice. If you don't believe me, just look at over the 90% rate that he calls a run between the tackles on a 2nd and 10 after an incomplete pass on first down. It is ridiculous and always puts us in 3rd and long. The 3rd and 8 call running Sellers in a very crucial time during the LSU game, ridiculous. He has a 1st-round draft pick at quarterback. He is not using him effectively, and he has quite honestly put too many hampers on him and reins on him. He has a world-class athlete in Nick Harbor. Scheme it up and find ways to get him the ball. I know he'll drop one every now and then, but still, target him. Find ways to get him the ball. This season is going to go down as one of the biggest disappointments in Carolina football history, and it's because of the offensive coordination of Mike Shula. I'm sorry to put it on him, but anybody, all you have to do is use your eyes to see it. Thanks. Go Cox.
All right. Look, he's not alone. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I would just add to that. I don't think there's anybody that's not the least bit culpable, and that includes the players out there. I don't think anybody's lighting the world on fire.
Yeah.
You disagree, Jamie?
No. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with anything that he said. I don't disagree with any. Look, here, I like Mike Shula. Like, I wish he was my next door neighbor. I would love to sit there and talk football with this guy all day long. I have so much respect for that name and for him and what he's achieved in his life. At the end of the day, and I'm not saying it can't change because we're through 6 games, but it just is what it is, right? It just is what it is. We've seen it for 6 weeks. At the end of the day, you are the coordinator. What did Preston say earlier? You coordinate practice for 5 days, and then you play the game on Saturday. You call the plays on Saturday, but you're coordinating the offense for the entire week, right? You're in charge of it. I mean, I tell you right now, probably shouldn't say this because this will be part of graffiti next week from somebody. But if this whole thing sucked throughout the week, I mean, I coordinate most of it, right, Phil? Right. Y'all would have to blame this on me at some point in time. Like, hey, man, it's not very good. Like, what are we going to do to improve things around here? It's the same thing in every industry in life. So,
are we sure that hasn't happened?
But I mean, if you send me a great video and I play the wrong one, that's on me. That's
true. Then you get fired,
right?
But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the facts are the facts. It lands at his feet. Do they have time to turn it around? Of course they do. Does that seem likely at this point? Well, it doesn't, but it sure didn't seem likely after they left Gainesville in 2022 either. So I will always wait till the end of the year to make more of a judgment call on my end of things and the job that we have here, right? But these guys that are saying all this stuff, like, what'd you say? It was Rod from Ridgeway?
Rod and Ridgeway, yeah.
Somebody find where he was wrong, because he's not.
No, not necessarily. And the unintentional alliteration is going to continue here from Haney and Honeypath, Rod Ridgeway, and now we have Allen and Allendale, which, to be completely transparent, I created based on the fact that, you know, movies who nobody wants to claim actually have real directors use a name in Hollywood and have for decades called Alan Smithy. It's an Alan Smithy film. That means there's either multiple directors who don't want any credit for it, or the movie sucks and nobody wants to take credit for it. Alan did not give his name, but so I just made it Alan from because he was calling from the 843 area code. So I was like, all right.
It might be from Jamie.
I was in Allendale on Saturday morning. I was about to say maybe it was me.
Somebody you pissed off, JB, is who this is.
If the Gamecocks want to win another game outside of Coastal this year, then we need to fire Shane Beamer right now and promote Clayton White. Shane Beamer is the problem. 3 terrible OCs, and he thinks that by firing Lonnie Teasley, that gives him a little more time. Why wait? What's going to happen is he's going to get fired by Thanksgiving of 2026, and we're going to save a few dollars, but he's going to embarrass for 2 years in a row. So let's get this done. Let's move on. Let's go find our Kurt Signetti.
Wow.
They escalated from OC now as the head coach.
Is this the trend that every call it just gets a little worse and worse? 803-250-1297.
Yeah,
we can still take them while we're on.
Let's not do that to the sweet town of Allendale again, Phil. Maybe like Allendale or
Aiken. Well, it was Allen. Yeah. I didn't want to go Allen and Allendale. I'm like,
why not?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Let me look. In the sport of college football. Let's do this in a couple different ways here. Okay. In the sport of college football, things can change rapidly. We would all agree with that, right? Things can change very rapidly.
Correct.
I mean, yes. The guy at Penn State's not coaching anymore. So.
Correct. He was number 3 in the country 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he is not the head football coach at Penn State anymore. So that part is true. I don't think we're anywhere near the territory of forgetting about what Shane Beamer has achieved at South Carolina thus far. I mean, they went 9-4 last year. They beat Clemson for the second time in 4 years on their home field. He's got 3 top 10 victories in his first 4.5 seasons at Carolina. They won 8 games in his second year. Look, has it been what everybody dreams of? No. Everybody dreams of hiring a guy where you're winning 11, 12 games a year and you're in the college football playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. Carolina's never been to the playoffs. They've never been to a national championship game. They've never done any of that with any other coaches. I really appreciate the phone call, understand the frustration, and that's where a lot of this is coming from. We're nowhere near that.
No, I don't think so. Honestly, the thought hasn't really entered my mind, but you still have 4 games left in this gauntlet. And I've covered enough of these seasons to know that if things go sideways, and unfortunately in college football, it can happen real fast. What do we give that gentleman with name?
Allen. Call him Allen. Yeah.
Okay. There will be a lot more Allens out there. Like that will not be an isolated situation. But I don't think anything is happening this year, nor do I think it should. I do think they have to obviously figure some things out, and that's going to be the job for the rest of this season and into the offseason. There's no doubt about it. I mean, everything else from a recruiting standpoint, from a just kind of health of the program, is kind of firing on all cylinders. Like, this is not Will Muschamp end of that era. This is not even end of Lou Holtz era. Like, this is, we've all seen the train wrecks. That's not what this is. This is a disappointing start to a season that a lot of people had very high hopes for. That's what this is. Especially coming off a 9-3 and having the face of the franchise back.
Yeah.
In Lenoris Sellers.
Yeah. I just can't engage in
well, you don't have to engage. I mean, you don't have to say you don't have to say anything. It's okay.
Now, look, I mean, I don't think it's unfair to be open-minded. Like, do I think Shane Beamer is anywhere near getting fired? No, I'm so far away from that. I promise you, whoever's as far away from that, I'm right there in your corner. I'm nowhere near it. But I will say this, and just understanding the state of the sport, if they don't win a game the rest of the year and they finish 3-9, he's a lot closer than you think he is.
Well, okay, you beat Coastal. You go 4-8.
Yeah, you're in the same boat.
Then that's a problem.
You're a lot closer than everybody. Yeah, you're a lot. That's how quickly it can change. But as it stands today, we're nowhere near that.
Yeah, but I see where you get the Norvell pass, right? You get one Norvell pass to do it again. You know, to try to put it together. You know, at least I mean, obviously there's going to be a portion of the fan base who is not going to be okay with that happening at all. They're going to be like, he's got to go. We told you. We've been telling you for 4 years, Ray Tanner. And then you got to get a gimme though in the age of the transfer portal and be like, hey, listen, we can turn this thing around if you want to. It's going to take resources. You provide resources. We'll go get players. Give us 1 more year and see how it goes. Now, there's going to have to be some changes on the staff underneath Shane Beamer at that point, obviously, and as well there should be if it continues down that path. But I don't. You're not in the hot seat right now. There's no hot seat.
Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. I think he's safe as anybody.
It's kind of interesting, that Carolina-Clemson game, which is nothing what anybody thought it would be at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, we thought that could be a top 10 matchup with 2 Heisman Trophy candidates.
Yeah.
It ain't anything close to that in any respect. But it becomes even more important in some weird ways because, again, if this 5-game gauntlet winds up, let's just say 1-4, the one thing you could hang your hat on that would still bring a lot of good vibes, it's just different when you finish with a win against Clemson. And if you beat Clemson 3 out of 4, which is somewhat historic because that rivalry hasn't gone that way very often, minus Spurrier's 5 in a row, then that's a massive undertaking of, okay, it's going to be okay. Got to make some changes. Got to figure out what life is going to be with perhaps a new coordinator, a new quarterback, new. That game won't have a whole lot of national buzz about it. It just won't. But locally, in the state of South Carolina, it becomes huge. It becomes pretty huge for Dabo too, because that fan base is falling in love with him.
There's a lot of people up there that want him gone, which Dabo's like, have at it. I'll take my buyout and go to Virginia Tech.
Dabo's like receipts. What the hell were you before I got here? Is what Dabo's saying, and he's got a pretty good point actually.
Yeah. That wears thin though after a while.
Well, it does. I know. I mean, you can't just keep pointing to the trophies in the back, and the fans are saying that's great. Now, what have you done the last 5 years? But I mean, you want to fire Dabo and roll the dice? Good luck with that.
Right.
Right. Look, I am on the side of you call it whatever you want to call it, homerism or whatever you want to. I don't care. Shane, I believe wholeheartedly he has what it takes to get an outstanding offensive coordinator at South Carolina. He's hired good coaches here. I mean, Clayton White has turned out to be pretty good. His special teams guys turned out to be pretty good. He knows what a good coach looks like. But it's also very fair for everybody out there to question whether he can do it or not. That's very fair because his track record isn't great with it. You have to stand on your record. You're like Coach Spurrier always says, right? You are what your record says you are. His record in hiring OCs outside of the run that Dowell gave him isn't very good. And a couple of games under Satterfield, it's not very good. So it's very fair for that to be questioned. I am in the minority in believing that he has it in him to go find the right guy, and I think he will.
I'm not even sure if you're in the minority on that, Jamie.
Maybe I'm just in the quiet majority.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. The people that are most upset are going to be the loudest generally. That's a rule of thumb. And we're not going to, by the way, we're not going to censor this segment. If people feel that way, then we'll still play the comments as you just saw. But I think there's a lot of people that still have deep enough memories to understand a lot of good things that have happened under Shane's watch. And a lot of good players that have come in for the future under Shane's watch recently. So
not that long ago.
No, not that long ago at all. That's what I'm saying. Like
it's not like he won 9 games his first year with Will Muschamp's players, and it's fallen off the table since then.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to be Auburn right now under Hugh Freeze? They have no memories to point to.
A lot of people wanted Hugh Freeze around here.
I got a lot to remember from Saturday.
Oh, you don't even know the half. Yes, Beyond wanted him. I mean, they would have crawled on their hands and knees to get him.
A lot of people wanted Billy Napier when they found out they were hiring Shane Beamer.
A lot of people wanted Billy Napier. We can go through the list of guys that people really wanted that have since been either fired or are about to get fired. But that's a whole other conversation. Which, but I mean, this is the nature of the beast. There are a number of SEC teams right now that are not particularly happy. And that starts with their coach and all the criticism that goes that way.
Well, I don't know who this guy is. Just reading a comment here in the chat box, but for those listening, I'll read it to you. And I'm on your team. I've said this since October of 2015. Coach Spurrier, please don't retire. Just go upstairs and call the plays. He said, if the HBC was dialing them up, we'd be undefeated and averaging 40 a game, provided Teasley was fired in the offseason and we had Elliott the whole season. I don't know about the second half, but I'm with you. If Spurrier was here, I think they'd be averaging 60 a game. It'd be the greatest offense in the history of football. And Carolina would be on their way to their 6th straight national championship.
Yeah.
Take that.
But I'm being serious. Like I always felt like I remember when Coach Spurrier was asked, "What's he going to do after he resigned?" Well, I might call plays at a high school somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, I'll buy season tickets. What high school is this in Florida? He's just going to sit in the booth and call plays? You gotta be kidding me.
He coached in that whatever version of the XFL it was. He was there before the league folded.
Yeah.
But he got a taste of it.
Yeah. And they won a title, and he'll tell you that.
Steve will have a restaurant in the Vista in downtown Columbia before he's dialing up plays for anybody.
We will see Steve Spurrier next weekend. He'll be back for the Alabama game.
Yeah, how cool was that? Yeah.
Can't wait. 15 years.
Remember exactly where I was watching that game.
If you would like that to be one of your voices, you can call 803-250-1297. Don't be startled by the, hey, big boy, it's me, Phil. Leave me a message after midnight. That's just Gamecock Graffiti. That's just how Phil.
I'm going to love this segment for a number of reasons, not the least of which is the background music.
Isn't it? It's nice.
It's a jam, isn't it?
Fantastic. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I feel like we're on a roller skating rink.
I was putting the production together, and I was just going through some stuff, and I was like, I don't know. And then as soon as I played it, I thought, So I sent it to Phil and said, do whatever you wish, my friend.
Do what you want.
Beautiful. Craig says Tom Herman. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, please.
How come we couldn't get Tom Herman?
Tom Herman would have been in and out faster than a car wash.
Well,
where is Tom now?
He went to FAU and then got fired at FAU.
I thought he had a house on Coach O's Island.
Oh.
I don't know where Tom is now.
We're assembling a super team of former fired coaches. Put it back together.
Where's
Chad Morris now?
Coach O's been saying he wants to coach again. So
he'll get a job as an assistant, but there's no SEC team hiring him as a head coach.
No
chance.
Oh, no.
No chance.
All
right. First ever historic installment of Gamecock Graffiti. JB, Phil, thank you for helping orchestrate that.
Of course. Always.
Well done.
That was great.
If you would like to sponsor this segment, pull up the Chief Sports app, and you'll find my email in the contact section. You can send me a note. All right, we'll step aside. We do also have video of some of the plays that happened this past weekend. Mike's got a little clarification. I would love to hear this because we've got the audio from the official on the field too. And it is, I'm not doubting you or your source. I'm just saying the guy on the field royally screwed up in the Carolina game. But we also have a couple of plays from the Auburn Georgia game. One of them was just a call. The other was also a screw up by the SEC officials. So we'll hit a timeout. It is Tuesday, October the 1st, presented by the South Carolina Education Lottery. We'll tell you more about that when we return.
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on.
Why choose Game Day nuts?
They're so easy to eat.
Don't have to throw the shells away.
Easy for travel. It's like grab and go.
Delicious.
Delicious.
They are delicious.
Never miss a touchdown fumbling with your nuts. Visit GameDayNuts.net. Boiled peanut. No shell.
There's nothing like Saturday in South Carolina. However you enjoy Gamecock football, Gamecock Traditions has a long-standing legacy of being a part of your game day. From tailgates to touchdowns, Gamecock Traditions has what you need and want with our beloved Block C logo. Get into Gamecock Traditions in Lexington or the Village at Sand Hill, or visit GamecockTraditions.com and have it shipped to your doorstep. We look forward to taking care of your family. Go Gamecocks.
Are your wood floors dirty, scratched, worn, or unsightly? Refinish your hardwood floors with Recoat Revolution. your solution for dull wood floors that need an upgrade. Our one-day, dustless wood floor finishing process is simple, effective, and affordable. Our goal is to serve as many customers as possible, so give us a call in South Carolina, 803-397-1365, or visit us at recoatrevolution.com. Go Gamecocks!
You're traveling to a dealership where the savings are beyond imagination. You've just entered the buy right zone.
When you don't have a reliable car, it can turn your world upside down. Even if your credit has reached its outer limits, JT is serious about saving you money.
Buy or lease a new JT's Kia for as little as $199 a month.
Get 0% for 72 months and save over $7,000. You have entered the buy right zone,
Where we love to say, you're approved. JT's Kia Fall Savings Event.
Introducing this year's Carolina Jackpot $5 scratch-off ticket, featuring a chance to win up to $200,000. You can even enter your tickets into the Second Chance promotion. Step on the court for a chance to win $50, $75, or $100,000. This Palmetto Series, let's show who really runs this state.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com. Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions, proud supporters of your South Carolina Gamecocks.
Oh man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
Welcome to SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chief Sports Network. Every Sunday night at 8 p.m. on the Chief Sports app, the Chief Sports YouTube channel, and on our X accounts. Hosted by Rob Williams and Craig McMichael, talking the week that was and what's to come in the SEC. Join us every week for SEC Sunday Night on the Chief Sports Network.
It's football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cards while you're at it.
I knew I liked that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, ready?
You bet.
Tune in every Friday at 9 a.m. to the Four Quarter Friday High School Show on the Chief Sports Network.
It is game week again at Williams-Brice Stadium. Oklahoma will be in town to take on your South Carolina Gamecocks at 12:45 kick coming up on Saturday on the SEC Network. And Alyssa Lang will be back in town roaming the sidelines. Taylor Zarzer and Matt Stinchcomb will call it. The Carolina Jackpot $5 scratch-off is back, and it is loud and proud. Lots of winners this year. So if you are buying lottery tickets, I pick one of these up. You also have a chance to win between 50 and 100 grand at a women's basketball game here this winter. Preseason number 1 in the SEC, preseason number 2 in the overall rankings. Dawn Staley's group. They have met with the media today, and coming up in the next hour, Lamont Paris and his guys will meet with the media as well. See sceducationlottery.com/education wins. Paris due up in 10 minutes. He'll have 15 on the podium, and then Mike Sharov jumps, and Miles Studi representing Gamecock men's basketball today at 1.
Say that second name again.
Mike Sharov jumps.
Sharov jumps.
Sharov jumps.
Yeah.
Sharov jumps. I know.
Big Mike.
Yeah, I've been testing Derek on it, and he's like, I'm just going with Big Mike. I said,
Big Mike.
Fair enough.
Mongolian Mike. I mean, however you want to do it.
I've heard that a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was his dad. His dad was the original Mongolian Mike with the Globetrotters.
All right. Mongolian Mike Jr.
Yeah. The second.
Yeah, I like that better.
Mongolian beef coming at you.
Mongolian skip.
Sharov jumps. I'm excited to watch these guys shoot it, by the way. I like watching Miles Studi shoot a basketball. I hope he's healthy. All right.
Glad come back just for himself, you know. I mean, if not, but I know he's a benefit to the team, and you know, he's a shooter, and that's what I feel like you were kind of missing that last year.
Run in there and knock one down real quick, Miles. You got it, coach.
Yeah.
Okay. So this past weekend, we had a major issue with officiating in the Carolina game, as we know, and we had 2 in the Auburn Georgia game. That one certainly could have directly decided the outcome of the ball game. The one in the Carolina game, I am not going as far as to say that in any way, shape, or form, but Carolina would have picked up a first down, and who knows what would have happened. Also could have had 3 sacks following this 4th down conversion on a fake punt. So Phil will pop them up here. Phil, let's let the first one play, because we have the audio with it. And it was Tom Hart and Jordan Rogers, as stumped as all of us were. So we'll let that play, and then we'll come back and fuss and discuss here. Here's the fake punt.
Actually, we could do it this way.
And pass by freshman punter
A little swinging gate out here from
Mason
South Carolina.
Love.
Here's some trickery from Shane Beamer. And then you run Nick Harbor on late. That's an added dimension. Oh, they had the fake set up, and they blew the whistle beforehand. There's a flag in the backfield. Maybe they're saying they weren't set, but I felt like Harbor certainly was.
Illegal procedure, number 24, kicking team. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
That's on the punter. What did he do? This is Shane's wondering, but looks like the explanation he got makes some sort of sense. I was talking to Shane before the game. He's getting ready to go meet with the officials. A lot of times you'll go over what your trick plays are. Everybody's on the line of scrimmage properly? I don't know.
All right, let's pause it there, Phil, if you can. Mike, what is the response you got? I know you've spoken with an SEC official on this.
Okay, so multiple procedural mistakes here. Number one, the call, which was a legal procedure, that doesn't even exist in college football. That's not a good look.
Right.
Number two, the umpire is supposed to be the one that's holding a play over the ball on a special teams play like a punt. He wasn't there.
Right.
So you had officials making errors mechanically, which is the worst. Again, interpretation calls, those won't get you docked or fired or anything, but mechanical stuff, that is something anybody who's done any bit of umpiring, officiating, that's like the no-no. So the problem starts with that. It continues with Carolina subs late. The umpire was supposed to stand over the ball and did not. The play shouldn't have been blown dead. So mistake. Carolina did sub late. But here's the thing about that. I asked, well, so if Carolina makes a mistake by subbing late, did it still have reason to be pissed off about the whole thing, for lack of a better term? I think that's actually a pretty good term. And he said, yes, but I think Carolina thought that if the sub process had been handled correctly, which it wasn't, and LSU would have been able to match up, they would have been able to be successful on the fake. So you have errors all over the place. And clearly it was not a good moment for the officiating crew. But the one thing that was pointed out by two officials, it could have been executed by Carolina better as well to help that go more smoothly and to not have the interruption that they did. So it was just a cluster, from top to bottom, but that's the explanation that I got.
Steve Marlowe was the head referee this weekend. The back judge is who stands over the play, right? Or the center judge. Center judge.
No, it's not on a punt. On the punt, the umpire should have been there.
The umpire, that's right. Okay.
On a regular play, you're right. The center judge,
Rodney Lowry. Okay. Regardless of, and I understand the explanation from whomever it was that you spoke with. However, the part about Carolina could have handled it better. Who cares? Who cares? The referee backed out of the play and nobody held the ball. So we play ball. I mean, if anybody should have ultimately at the end of the day been pissed about any sort of substitution issue, it would have been LSU if they just would have let this thing play on and LSU wanted to run somebody onto the field because of a late sub by South Carolina. It should have been, why was that play allowed to continue? And that would be LSU's issue, not South Carolina's. So I'm not being harsh on whoever. Like, I get it, but it's not their job to judge when South Carolina should or shouldn't sub. That's a move made by the Gamecocks, the officials. Their job is to call the game and officiate it, and they didn't do it there properly. And if you continue to play it here, Phil, you see Shane Beamer telling the after they do that. Well, we'll show it again. See, they ran a guy on the field late. That was Nick Harbor, who ran on. They held the play. They back out of it. Nobody's holding the ball. The ball is in play. Everything is good to go here.
Right.
If it wasn't, the official would have stayed in front of the punter, but he didn't do that. He backed out of there and got away from it. And then Shane Beamer,
on him.
That's a mistake on him.
Right. Yeah. But if you send Harbor out on the field earlier, then none of that even comes into play, and you pull the play off, and it's a first down.
Well, that's true, but it doesn't mitigate the fact that these guys still screwed this thing up.
It's okay to be mad at the officials. I'm just telling you, if Shane had a mulligan, I promise you, that sub would have come in earlier, and the play would have gone off without a hitch, and Carolina would be looking at a first. Some people said touchdown. He's not going for a touchdown there.
Which by the way, pause it real quick, Phil.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So they didn't even make a late substitution. They just didn't have enough guys on the field.
I'm not convinced that Harbor running in late isn't part of the play.
Well, and that doesn't, and
because that's a major something to distract the other team. Like, oh, okay, yeah, because it was not like I don't think he missed, his personnel group to be on the field. I think it's designed for him to be the last guy running out there because there was plenty enough time. It's not like you're under the gun here with the play clock. Because it was, you had plenty of time to have all this happen, including having them substitute if they wanted to and still pull this off. But I'm not convinced that having Harbor be the last guy on the field wasn't designed.
I would love to know, and I'm with you that I don't know the answer to it, but it's a good thought. I would love to know what maybe you can get a response on this too. I know you'll be back on Thursday. Maybe you can have something on it. Is there a difference in running a guy on late when you don't have enough players on the field versus an actual substitution? And because what I'm getting at here is,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, okay, LSU's got 11 on the field. Carolina's only got 10, but then they run Nick Harbor out there, and LSU's going, wait a second, we need to swap personnel here. Are you allowed to do that if it's not enough players on the field versus just a straight substitution?
Well, again, the explanation I got from two people that there was very little differing on this. Because he comes out late, at that point, what the umpire should have done is stopped the play.
Right. Yeah.
To hold up the play.
Yeah.
To hold up the play. So the other point can be made that if he does go out on the field at the same time with the other 10 guys, it doesn't come down to that. The play goes off, and Shane pulls off another fake punt for a first down.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, everybody understands. Like, the officials botched this 6 ways to Sunday. Yeah, but if it's executed the way Shane would have liked, I think this play works, and the ineptitude of the officials doesn't even matter.
I'm not so sure that Phil might not be on to something there, and I'd love to know if maybe I don't know that Beamer would actually openly talk about it because people know. Yeah. But I mean, I'm not so sure that Phil. I mean, look, could a guy have? Hey, Nick, you're supposed to be out there. Well, of course, that happens all the time.
Yeah,
but Phil, I don't know that you're wrong either. And no, we're going to hold him late because if we don't have enough guys on the field versus making a straight substitution, they can't substitute. I'd love to know what the rule is on that.
But what's the advantage of having him run at the last second when the rule then becomes the official has to stop play? Now all of a sudden your fake is not as effective because you're stopping play for LSU to make sure they've got their proper personnel. With Harbor running out late, they have to stop it late. I mean, they have to stop it for LSU. So now, even if LSU doesn't make another switch, they can go ahead and say, hey, this kind of looks like a fake. It gives them more time to call a timeout. I just think if all 11 just sprint out at the same time, I think this thing works. And I don't think the officials do anything at that point. I don't think they do anything to stop it. But
I think the delay works, Mike. I mean, and all of this is just speculation. But because Harbor plays special teams normally, like it is not odd to see him in a special teams personnel group.
Right.
And using him for the potential that he has, but it makes it feel more like, oh shit, I forgot to get out there, because it's somebody who's normally in the position group. So that's why that's what leads me to believe that, because like I said, you got plenty of time to allow LSU to substitute, which means they're overthinking and having to account for a guy who's normally out there anyway in this grouping. So you're getting them to turn their gears a bit quicker. So yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I could see your point is valid. Like, you just run him out there and put him over there. I mean, why numbers? Then done.
I think you had a great play called, and I think if all 11 run out there and there's no what should have been a stoppage wasn't a stoppage, but then it was a stoppage after the fact. I don't think any of that happens. I think it's executed and you get a first down. That's my only point.
And who knows if any of us are right or wrong or whatever.
Honestly, I think Carolina loses the game regardless, if we're going to be brutally honest. But
well, yeah, what are you going to do with it after that? Because the offense wasn't doing shit.
Yeah. I mean, you had some people saying, "Hey, he would have scored a touchdown." That's always a popular thing to say. Not scoring a touchdown. That's not.
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I don't think Mo Brown was scoring a touchdown there, but they would have picked up the first down.
Yes, of course. Yeah. That's my initial point. Like that could have been done. Look,
that brings me back to my first point. Don't
smoke. Yes, and it's not been a good few weeks for SEC officials.
Yeah, they're struggling. It's bad.
It's been a rough. Somebody told me a stat, and the final 2 minutes of the first half of the Auburn Georgia game was something like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
because of the reviews. Yeah. So that's no good. That's no bueno. Like that's got to be done better.
Yeah. You backed away. He was exactly right there, Shane Beamer.
Yeah.
And
he's right, but he shouldn't have backed away. They screwed up.
Yeah, should.
The umpire should have held up the ball. So, oh, here we go.
Here's one. Yeah,
here's the fumble. Which, by the way, 3 helmets were offsides for Georgia.
Well, they don't call it in the NFL, so who cares?
Man,
every tush push imaginable they get away with that.
They were on the other side of the ball. Like, what? What are we doing here?
Now, can I just say one other thing about this play? I don't like it. I don't like the call. Like, you're Auburn, you've got capable backs.
Is this what down? Oh, this is a third down. I can see it right there in the. Yeah, there's no need for this on third.
Like, I don't need there's other. I always get nervous when I've got my quarterback holding the ball out over the goal line for this reason. Now, I think in this case it should have been a touchdown, but this can happen, and you see it happen all the time where the ball gets knocked out before the goal line and you just gave up a score.
Yeah.
I'm not wild about the play call. You're not Philadelphia. This is not the tush push. You're Jackson Arnold and Auburn.
Golly.
There's a lot to be said for that ball has already
That's a
crossed
touchdown
the
right
lane,
It's
though.
there.
Right,
And there's
there. You got the shot clear as day, and they got it.
I'm watching. There are 3 Georgia guys doing a podcast the other day, and I ran across the clip, and they all go, "Oh, he was definitely bobbling it before the goal line." What are you looking at? Take off your red and black glasses. My goodness.
It was a terrible call. What's the point of all this replay if we can't constantly get it right?
See, before that's knocked out, that's a terrible angle. Before it's knocked out, he's at the goal line, and there's free shots of it. And that should have been 17-0.
Yeah.
I didn't see that one.
This one here, I did a lot of lip reading on this. Kirby had both things going on here. He was yelling, clapping on the sideline, but he signaled timeout.
And the safety was clapping.
Yes.
All that's legit, but there's no question he called timeout. Yeah. There's no question. Now, I don't think that call is nearly as if he does get the timeout, it's not like that changes the game. The touchdown, it was not called a touchdown. That changed the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
People are just upset here because they think Kirby's a liar. And okay, fine.
Yeah, this is cinema. I mean, Kirby clapping, and this is beautiful.
I mean, he's calling timeout. And he's yelling, clapping, but he's calling timeout.
He's calling timeout. Yeah.
Like,
that's another miss.
I mean, in the rule, if you call a timeout, that's as good as asking for a timeout, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why the signal is there. Sometimes you can't, it's so loud you can't even hear the coach. So you can get the signal.
I just don't understand how Ken Williamson and this group screwed that up. I don't. Just awful.
I don't know either, and I don't even know. That wouldn't be reviewable. I've never seen this situation in years of watching college football. I've never seen something quite like that.
Yeah, it's really bad. And God bless Sean McDonough for always cutting through the cheese and just saying what's on his mind too, by the way.
Well, he's got the ability to do that.
Yeah. I don't think he cares.
You know what Sean says if somebody calls him up and says you were a little harsh? Yeah, whatever. I'm 60-something years old. I'm good. Thanks for the call. I'll take it under advisement.
That's exactly right. Yeah, that was just awful. The reason that people are up in arms over this is because it's Georgia and it's Kirby Smart. That's why. And they, there's a narrative out there, and I'm not so sure that the narrative is a bad one, that a lot of the top teams continuously get a lot of these wild calls. I'd really have to go back and really do some investigating on that, but all right, well, we did it. We made it through without JC.
Now I've got a sinus infection. I'm kidding, but I have been battling something. There's a lot in the air. I know what JC's going through because there's everybody around me is sick or getting gunk. And if you're traveling on a plane these days,
that's what I was going to say.
People sneezing. Oh, yeah. And I always get caught, in between the overly obese man and the woman with a terrible head cough and the guy behind me with a baby. that's spitting up vomit and germs. Yeah.
Well,
show up in a damn hazmat suit.
Oh, there's still people that wear masks around when they drive by themselves. So you wouldn't be.
Outside, yeah.
I don't think many people would look at you in a hazmat suit and think there was something wrong with you. I mean, there's literally people driving in a car alone with a mask on.
With a mask on. Yes.
Okay. Whatever, man.
Trusting the science.
You just can't fix it, you know. Tomorrow, Perry Orth will be in tomorrow in place of Garcia. Perry's traveling on Thursday, so we're going to plug him in tomorrow, Stephen, on Thursday.
Oh.
Ask Perry, what would he do with this offense? And Perry will shoot it straight. I mean, ask what is going wrong with the offense. Chapter and verse, lay it down.
Those stickers are on vehicles all across the state. WWPD. What would Perry do?
What would Perry do?
What would Perry do? And not just in football, but in life.
If you'd like to be a part of Gamecock Graffiti, it's 803-250-1297.
803-250-1297.
Exactly.
Very well done.
Thanks to Preston Thorne for joining us earlier today as well.
BT.
Mike, well done. Mad Dog.
Enjoyed it.
Yes.
See you on Thursday with another Fab Five.
Yes. I went 4-1 this week. I redeemed myself. I told you I would.
Me
I
too.
made that promise. Promise is kept.
That's multiple 4-1s.
Oh, son of a bitch.
So I don't think you made up any ground there, big guy.
It's okay. It's all right. Slow playing this thing. For Mike and Phil, thanks to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow at 10 on the morning show.
See you guys.